bed, so we slept on the floor. He's always smiling, never heard him complain. He said I've proven God again and again. So no matter what the circumstances may be, God is always there for me. Yeah. Through the sunshine or through the rain, through the pleasure or through the pain, God is always there for me. No matter what the circumstances may be, yeah, God is always there for me. Yeah. Through the good times or through the bad, through the happy times or through the sad, God is always there for me. The landlord wears the rent, school fee too, partner drop bonds, and the youth them need you. Friends all ask me what I'm gonna do. I smile and tell them that God will see me through. So no matter what the circumstances may be, yeah, God is always there for me. Yeah, through the sunshine or through the rain, through the pleasure or through the pain, God is always there for me. So no matter what the circumstances may be, God is always there for me. Yeah, through the good times or through the bad, through the happy times or through the sad, God is always there for me. I met this old man, he was so poor. He didn't hold a bed, so we slept on the floor. He's always smiling, I never heard him complain. He said I've proven God again and again. So no matter what the circumstances may be, God is always there for me. Yeah. Through the sunshine or through the rain, through the pleasure or through the pain, God is always there for me. No matter what the circumstances may be, no, God is always there for me. Yeah. Through the good times or through the bad, through the happy times or separate me from your love, my Jesus. Nothing will be able to turn me away from you. I love you, Father. Anyhow, the afflictions of the righteous, the hearts of men getting more and more vicious. Brutality is on the increase. Tell me, when the love of God sees no power on earth to separate me from your love, my Jesus, nothing will be able to turn me away from you. I love you, Father. This level of crime, only love can eradicate. We must demand justice from the church and the state, and confess to God all our evil ways. Indeed, we'll give us so much better days when we show love to each and every brother. Love will return to protect mother, daughter, sister. Let's hope in our heart to those who are in need, who never receive love. Come, let's sow some seed. No power on earth to separate me from love. Love my Jesus. Nothing will be able to turn me away from you. I love you, Heavenly Father. No power on earth to separate me from love. I love you, my Jesus. Nothing will be able to turn me away from you. No, 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 no power on earth to separate me from you. No power, no, oh no, nothing will be able to turn me away from you.
Good afternoon to all my listeners and viewers. Welcome to Rebel Radio. Wednesday, remember, Eyes on the World. Yes, our new program looking at international events with focus on Africa and the Middle East. Remember this evening at 5 o'clock. Yes, and we, as usual, have your plate chock full of nutritious information to enlighten you and to keep you abreast of what the other media are not looking at. Yes, we are geared at looking at what is affecting the lives of the people. Yes, that's what we are geared for. Yes, and as you know, we are in the political season now. Today is the 2nd of July. And so, by our calculations, we should be weeks away from elections in Jamaica. We know the Guyanese people are weeks away from elections. Elections are due there, I think, in September 4th. Yes. And St. Vincent also. And there might be early elections in Barbados too. We might. So we are keeping eyes on what is happening, talking to the candidates, especially those new candidates. Because so far, the 2 out of 5 elections in the Caribbean, which are due in the Caribbean this year, there have been change of governments. And we are watching to see if the trend will continue. The opposition in Jamaica, the PNP, the oldest political party in Jamaica, it is confident that it is going to win the elections. But the government is gunning for a 3rd term. You know, only the PNP has won 3 terms in the political history in Jamaica. So Andrew Holness is planning to second that. Yes. Well, let us see what is going to happen. You know, this Sunday, the heads of CARICOM are meeting in Montego Bay, and the Palestinian Solidarity Action Group, yes, that's our group here in Jamaica. They are planning to present themselves down there. They have already written to the Prime Minister and to the Prime Ministers. They are pressing for the Caribbean governments to sever relations with Israel. Yes, and they want to bring to the public's attention their position on this matter. We at Rebel Radio believe that this should be done also, right? We want some action. Also today, that lawsuit that was filed in the Barbados Supreme Court against the government of Israel is being heard today. Yes. We will give you an update later. Yes, we'll be talking to the attorney who is leading that matter. So stay tuned. Also, we intend to have a discussion with Libre. Libre is a Puerto Rican who has been in Gaza for the last 13 months doing humanitarian work down there. We intend to talk with him a little later. Yes, because as you know, we have to keep in touch with what is happening to the lives of the people. As we say, that is what we do at Rebel Radio. And let me see if I can find Paul Buchanan. Paul Buchanan is leading a big challenge there in West Central St. Andrew. He is seeking to dethrone the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister has been sitting in representing that constituency now for, I think it's over 20 years. Yes. Paul is trying to unseat him. I don't know if that is going to succeed, but Mr. Buchanan is very confident that he has what it takes to upset the Prime Minister, though over there. So I'm trying to find him for us to talk about his campaign. How is he getting along over there in West Central St. Andrew? Another big challenge is Stacey Knight. Stacey Knight up in northeastern St. Andrew. Yes. That constituency is held by the Justice Minister Delroy Chuck. And he is in that constituency. has been that constituency representatives I know over 20 years. Yes. And so it is going to be, that is also a big challenge. And she's putting up a fight over there. Yes, we have spoken a couple times on this program. Yes. That is one of the constituency that is really a challenging task. But you know, in the corporate area, one of the things that can be said about most, if not all, the constituencies in the corporate area. All right, so for example, Northeastern St. Andrew. This is a constituency where you have some upper class residential areas. Yes. But the vast majority of the people who vote in these elections they are in Grand Spain. Grand Spain and those other areas where the majority blacks are living. And I can tell you that the conditions in these communities are very poor. And that is the picture right across the corporate area, where the majority of the voters are the working class black people. And they are living and working and surviving in terrible conditions. I know that in that constituency, Northeastern, there are a lot of residents there who are living, let me say, they are informal residents. Squatting is a big issue there. The Member of Parliament has been there for 20 years and that issue remains. And I said this is the case with the vast majority of the constituencies in the corporate area. And across the country, most of the voters are the ordinary black people, and they are the ones who are dispossessed. They are the ones who are shot by the police. They are the ones who have problems accessing medical treatment. They are the ones who have difficulty accessing water. Their road conditions, poor, living on the edge. This is where poverty reigns. And they are the ones who have been electing governments since 1944. I don't know when this is going to change, but these are what needs to be changed in the country. Let us take a break. This is Rebel Radio.
It's the Everybody Sale at New Budget Supplies. Do-it-yourself professionals and contractors. This is the sale for you. Lumber, steel, dress and form ply, water tanks, pumps, PVC pipes and fittings, toilets, bathtubs, vanities and basins, windows, paint, doors, floor and wall tiles, thin sets and grout. Up to 20% off selected items. 195 Hagleyburg Road. Telephone 923-4560. New Budget Supplies. Always the best prices.
Tools, hardware and supplies is turning up the heat this summer with their super saving summer sale. Prices are slashed on everything you need to fix up your home. Beautiful tiles, sleek doors, top quality windows, modern sanitary ware, exclusive flooring and more. At Tools, hardware and supplies, we have you covered for the summer.
So come visit us at 279 Spanish Town Road, 4 South Camp Road, 8 Red Hills Road,
or online at toolsja.com.
Tools!
The Lion King of Hardware.
And vibes, and through it all there's a glow inside. Let's keep our shine alive.
From the market to the factory floors, from the hillside green to golden shores,
we're reaching heights, our energy that lights the sky. Shine bright, Jamaica. Shine bright, Jamaica. Feel the rhythm, we're on track. Feel it, feel it. Together we rise, together we climb. JPS Jamaica, together we shine.
Shine from the ends, shine with your family, shine with your friends. Light up the streets and make the vibes blend. Yo, JPS and make the shine never end.
Property for sale in Oak Bay, Portland, known as Hermitage Farm, located on the main road east of Oak Bay Police Station and west of Somerset Falls. Property size is 74 acres and includes a house with 5 bedrooms, 4,971 square feet, with water storage and a 3.5 acre coastal pond. Asking price US $2 million. For further information, kindly contact Kenneth Tomlinson, receiver, trustee, care of Business Recovery Services Limited, 11 Connolly Avenue, Kingston 4. Telephone number 876-948-001225. So that's 876-948-001225.
Tools, hardware and supplies is turning up the heat this summer with their super saving summer sale. Prices are slashed on everything you need to fix up your home. Beautiful tiles, sleek doors, top quality windows, modern sanitary ware, exclusive flooring and more at Tools.
Yes, welcome back to Rebel Radio. Yes. And as I indicated at the start of the program, that this weekend, yes, it's a big week. The Palestinian Solidarity Action Group, yes, we are planning a demonstration to show our presence at the conference, the CARICOM Heads of Government Conference. It's because we want to urge the Caribbean leaders to take some action against the genocide in Gaza. And believe me, it is terrible. I have with me Donna, who is one of those persons who are urging the Caribbean heads to take action. Good evening, Donna. How are you? Hello, Donna.
Hello?
Oh, are you
here? Yes, I'm here.
Okay, all right. So, yes, so tell us about what is going to happen this Sunday at the Montego Bay Convention Center.
Well, as you said in your opening, the CARICOM heads will be meeting at the Montego Bay Convention Center this weekend. Right. So we concerned citizens in Jamaica. We would like for the Palestinian issue to be placed on the agenda. We're calling for the governments to put an end to diplomatic ties that they have with Israel. Israel is a state on trial at the ICJ, the International
Court of Justice.
Court,
Right.
yeah, for war crimes. Netanyahu and his former defense minister Gallant, you have, I hope I'm not mispronouncing his name, is the issues warrant issued for both by the ICC. They are suspected war criminals. Israel has been consistently bombing Gaza. Israel has dropped over a record 70,000 tons of explosive on Gaza, and Gaza is one of the most, if not the most, densely populated place on earth. It's a very small place. When they claim that the IDF claim that they issue notices for people to vacate particular spots because they're going to carry out military operations there. It's ridiculous because there's nowhere to run. Gaza has been under a brutal and bruising blockade for over 17 years. Nothing goes in, comes out without Israel's approval. So where are Palestinians to run when they claim that they are a moral army and they issue these notices telling the Palestinians to clear out an area because they're going to bomb it. Mm-hmm. The situation has got incredibly unbelievable. When you watch, we're watching genocide live stream. We see children being blown to bits, to pieces, and our moral compass, our humanity is on the line.
Yes.
And I think that while the people themselves across the world, including here in Jamaica, we understand that something has to be done.
Yes, of course.
I don't think our governments understand for whatever reason that by engaging with Israel and by not, sending a strong message condemning the genocide, they're even afraid to declare it a genocide. Mayor Motley of Barbados has been the only one to openly say, yes, Israel is committing genocide, after international experts, a lot of them Jewish experts, have declared that that genocide is taking place. So we believe that it is incumbent on our governments across the Caribbean to send a message that, one, they acknowledge that genocide is taking place, and they do not support it, and they are willing to take diplomatic actions, cut diplomatic ties with Israel, because I know that we here in Jamaica, I know we do business with Israel.
Yes.
We do business with Israel. We cannot ourselves, remember that we came out of the genocide of the Tainos and the indigenous Indian population in this side of the world. So we ourselves, as descendants of ex-slaves, we experienced genocide during the transatlantic slave trade.
Yes.
So we owe it to ourselves, we owe it to our ancestors, we owe it to future generations that we take a stance. We cannot sit back and allow what is happening to be happening in the 21st century. It's completely unheard of. Not in a world where we have systems and institutions. We have international law. They don't call it rules-based international law. We have laws that are supposed to be, protect people against the atrocities that we see happening. And what is happening is that Israel and its backers in the US and the UK and Europe have totally dismissed and flaunted all of those conventions which they themselves created. They have protected Israel at the United Nations, where the US uses its veto power to torpedo any sort of resolution that calls for a ceasefire. This has been going on for 21 months. 2 weeks ago, Donald Trump vetoed a resolution calling for a ceasefire. That was his first veto. Biden vetoed 4 resolutions. So we in CARICOM, we have to take a stand. The people have to get out there and force their government, if necessary, to take a stance on Israel. We cannot be complicit, because history is going to judge us horribly if we don't say something. We are all Gazans. We are all Gazans. If today it's the Gaza people in Gaza, tomorrow it could be us.
Yes, of course.
So we have to take a stand.
Absolutely. And therefore, I know that you would be calling on all Jamaicans to show some support by turning up at the Montego Bay Convention Center on Sunday.
Yes.
To show support for this worthy cause. Yes. And,
it's very important.
Yes. Today that lawsuit that was filed in the Barbados court against Israel is being heard right now. So we will keep you abreast of what the results of that case is. We will provide you with some information later. But it is very important, and I want to really thank you very much for joining us to.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Richards, for having me and to spread word about this very important time in our history. We cannot let it pass us by. We have to, for posterity, we have to know within ourselves. There was this American air military man. I don't know if you recall the incident. Aaron Bushnell.
Mm-hmm.
He set himself ablaze in protest against the whole genocide. He's an American air. He was in the army, and it affected him so much that he set himself ablaze. And one of the final things he said to the world was, ask yourself, genocide is taking place. Ask yourself, what are you doing, or what did you do? And he said, you're doing it now. So that means that it's either that you're sitting down and you are allowing this to happen, or you're out there protesting. And in whatever way you can protest,
Yes.
Whatever way you can boycott. Make sure you boycott the goods, the products that comes out of Israel. That is another campaign. You can read your labels. Look up the barcode. Barcode, I think, for Israel is 729, and make sure you don't support genocide, because if you buy food and if you buy drinks that are made in Israel or from companies that support Israel, you're drinking and eating genocide. That's what it comes down to.
Okay, Donna. We will keep abreast and keep the voice out there. Thanks very much.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, Mr. Richards, and thank you so much for having me.
All right. Yes, that was Donna there, and she is telling us, reminding us that we should keep up the protests. Yes, we must keep this situation on the forefront because this is a matter that needs attention, right? And I hope we have Paul with us now. Hello, Paul, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. This is Mr. Paul Buchanan, listeners and viewers. And as I indicated earlier on that he has, this is like David versus Goliath. He is seeking to dethrone the Prime Minister who has been in West Central St. Andrew, as I said, for over 20 years now. Pablo, how are you getting along over in West Central? Paul?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, I'm asking you, how are you getting along over in West Central?
I'm getting along fine. My numbers are there. Seeing back numbers that we haven't gotten since the days of AJ Nicholson.
Yes?
But as my numbers increase, so the violence increase.
Violence?
Last night, another of my strongest supporter was shot and killed beside the caretaker counselor in the Olympic division. 10 days ago, another of my supporters now is battling for life down in KPH. KPH. And and before that, one of my perhaps the strongest female supporter we have in the constituency, Joanne, was killed a stone throw less than 20 feet from where Mutu, businessman, affectionately called Mutu, and a strong comrade was dropped down, them running down and killing right myself, executed. So this has been essentially a killing field, and it points to the need for needed leadership after 27 years of leadership by the Prime Minister as the Member of Parliament. There's no direction to a gentle and more civil society. In here, nobody comes. PMP don't want to come down here. Everybody afraid. When the children seeking a job outside, them don't want to use the address because all you know have and I've had over the years is intimidation and killing. And especially when it comes to election season, This is what occurs.
So the area is...
I have lost 3 of my top people in the last 3 months. Not ascribing motives, God don't know. I'm not God, but the coincidence must be worrying.
Yes, of course. So the area is tense.
Tense, of course, because what it points to is that people will be intimidated to come out to vote.
Yes, sir.
As is the case. So you have to go motivate and motivate. And that's the reason why the question of democracy is a joke. This is not a seat where democracy is something to be cherished. It's almost something to be laughed at and scoffed at.
Yes.
And it's a tragedy because there's talent here, there's goodness here. There are people, a dwindling band of decent citizens inside here, especially in the Mall Road to Waltham area. You understand? And there are good people over in Tower to all Seabright Gardens, Mullines, all over.
Yes.
But they are tired now.
Yes.
They're tired. They retreat into their home rather than speak out.
So the last...
A little girl, the Pembroke girl at 14 years old, not even enjoying the sunshine of her life. Her life snuffed out by a drive-by killing where two other men were shot. She don't know why, and she has gone to her grave and left her mother and her whole family believe her traumatized and just still in a state of hopelessness.
Yes, yes. So last night shooting...
Terrible over here. It's terrible over here, my friend.
The last night shooting, where did it occur? Where? Just remind me.
Tangerine Road. Okay. Right near where the caretaker councillor lives.
Mm-hmm.
She was sitting with the deceased and talking.
Mm-hmm.
When the man them just drive up and shoot up the place and kill. She had to dive on the ground and chip up herself.
Oh my. Yes.
That's my caretaker councillor.
Yes, yes.
No. All I've known from I come here is agony and pressure. Agony and pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And despite all of that, we have made so much inroads, it's not funny. We are seeing numbers that only A.J. Nicholson got.
Mm-hmm.
In places that you least expect. What it tells us is that over the years, people have been so intimidated that they don't come out to vote. And when they don't come out to vote, you lose elections. So you have lost 5 elections. So I had to build back belief based on the work that I have done in this constituency since I came and my track record as a member of parliament in West Rural. Where I built schools, I built highways, I built IT centers, that sort of thing, health centers, water supply, fix, breakaways, roads, everything in record numbers. Help with coordinate over 300 persons going on the farm work over my 4.5 years up there.
Yes. Yes. So what has the police, I know that the police...
I don't know what they are doing. They must be investigating. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is so traumatic that you can't even think anyway, numb the senses. A big man with him 5 or 6 children, you just come shoot the man. Whatever is the reason, whatever is the motive, this is what we call lawlessness in the extreme.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know the motive. The point is, it's a dispensation of lawlessness and a constituency of gun violence par excellence.
Yes, sir. So that is this.
I can't associate that word excellence with it. I just want you to know that there can be no more degrading, egregious situation, political situation than the one we find ourselves in.
Yes.
And the tragedy is, it is the constituency of the Prime Minister.
Yes.
And he should have led a dispensation of civility, decency, you understand, and goodness.
Mm-hmm.
And he has failed. And he's in his 27 to 28 years.
Yes. So there, the situation that...
Everybody have a last chance now, so to change the tide.
Yes.
I left civility up at West Rural.
Mm-hmm.
So let us see what people are going to do. If they're going to stand up for democracy, if they're going to express them disapproval with what is happening on election day, or them going to stay home. Because staying home means that your property, their property, will lose value. Their children will be blighted. It's not a constituency where the brightest and the best can breed. A few of them make it through. I provided scholarships for them. You understand? But what we're talking about is not a constituency where you have a preparation for the technology of the future. And we have that sense of exceptionalism here just as anywhere in Jamaica.
Yes.
But it cannot be that the children of Champion, the children of Immaculate, the children of Peter and Paul, Prep, Amona Prep, is doing robotics in a serious way. And what happened to our schools here?
Yes.
What happened to, do we have that kind of infrastructure and AI infrastructure? What about DuPont? What about Seaward? What about Penwood?
Yes, sir.
No. No. So you have an upper side in our education system being demonstrated here at different level for the Mona Preps and others. And the children here, you can't talk about robotics. They might think it's a comic book. We're talking about some comic character.
Yes, yes. And
lack of opportunity, lack of foresight, lack of vision.
Yes. And
Paul, I don't know what is happening here.
And Paul, one of the things that you said in our earlier discussion is that when you look in the constituency, you have not seen any visible signs of development over the period.
Signs of development. One like a police station out of Olympic Way after 27 years. I challenge anybody to show me anything else. A few houses scratched out, housing here and there. Even the land, the no man's land at Bay Farm Road.
Yes.
We hear it's earmarked for housing. Why not a community college, a robotics community college that bring the world and Jamaica in here and change the face of this community? From gun violence to educational excellence. Why not? But here we are. I'm going to give it my best shot, and I'm doing that.
Yes.
The people have to do the rest.
Yes, sir. So as we speak, West Central St. Andrew tense, the PNP candidate.
Noticeably, last week, Sunday, one analyst was saying this seat is a toss-up. Never before in the history of this country as a prime minister seat been seen as a toss-up going into an election. Norman Mandela lost, but he wasn't prime minister.
Yes.
In 1944, but he wasn't prime minister.
No.
We have a sitting prime minister, and him can't tell Jamaica otherwise. This one here, going down to the wire. I have my numbers. Him have state power. And that's where it is.
Yes. Yes.
I have to protect my people, and I have to protect myself.
Yes.
I don't know what the future will bring, but I'm not intimidated. I'm going to fight to the end.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes. Well, Paul, we have to keep this discussion on the front burner because, as you say, Dan just told us that your constituents are intimidated. You have lost 3 already.
We have lost 4, but 3 of our frontline people.
Yes.
In 3 months, in one division, the Olympic division.
Yes.
Which is a so-called stronghold. That's the Tower Hill division. Where Tower Hill is. That's the so-called stronghold of the Prime Minister.
Yes, yes. All right, Paul, let us continue this discussion. We'll keep a focus there because that is not good news at all. I want to thank you very much.
Okay.
I want to thank you very much for your time this evening. To be continued.
Thank you, my friend. Good.
Okay. That was Paul Buchanan, candidate for in the Prime Minister's constituency there, West Central St. Andrew. And you just heard what he said. Violence is in the constituency now, violence. His people are intimidated. And he has lost 3 in 3 months. Let us take a break. This is Rebel Radio.
It's the Everybody Sale at New Budget Supplies. Do-it-yourself professionals and contractors. This is the sale for you. Lumber, steel, dress and form ply, water tanks, pumps, PVC pipes and fittings, toilets, bathtubs, vanities and basins, windows, paint, doors, floor and wall tiles, thin sets and grout. Up to 20% off selected items. 195 Hagleyburg Road. Telephone 923-4560. New Budget Supplies. Always the best prices.
Tools, hardware, and supplies is turning up the heat this summer with their super saving summer sale. Prices are slashed on everything you need to fix up your home. Beautiful tiles, sleek doors, top quality windows, modern sanitary ware, exclusive flooring, and more. At Tools, hardware, and supplies, we have you covered for the summer.
So come visit us at 279 Spanish Town Road, 4 South Camp Road, 8 Red Hills Road,
or online at toolsja.com.
Tools!
The Lion King of Hardware.
And vibes, and through it all there's a glow inside. Let's keep our shine alive.
From the market to the factory floors, from the hillside green to golden shores.
We're rich in kind, so energy that lights the sky. Shine bright, Jamaica. Shine bright, Jamaica. Feel the rhythm, we're on track. Feel it, feel it. Together we rise, together we climb. JPS Jamaica, together we shine.
Shine from the ends, shine with your family, shine with your friends. Light up the streets and make the vibes blend. Your JPS and make the shine never end.
Property for sale in Oak Bay, Portland, known as Hermitage Farm, located on the main road east of Oak Bay Police Station and west of Somerset Falls. Property size is 74 acres and includes a house with 5 bedrooms, 4,971 square feet, with water storage and a 3.5 acre coastal pond. Asking price US $2 million. For further information, kindly contact Kenneth Tomlinson, receiver, trustee, care of Business Recovery Services Limited, 11 Connolly Avenue, Kingston 4. Telephone number 876-948-001225. So that's 876-948-001225.
Welcome back to Rebel Radio. Yes. And boy, we're just thinking about what Mr. Buchanan told us a while ago. You know, violence used to be a feature of elections in Jamaica. But we can say that over the years we have been able to remove that from our elections. But what Paul Buchanan has told us there in West Central St. Andrew, that's not good news at all. And we are going to follow up to find out what is happening down there. People are people are fearful. All right, we are going over to California now. You know, we have been featuring or taking a look at what is happening in that state for a few weeks now. And this week we want to take a look at, what is the impact. Listeners and viewers will recall that some weeks ago there was a massive demonstration against the U.S. immigration policies in California. And we want to find out now what is the impact so far on industries, how is it working, and take a look at, what is the progress, how are blacks progress in California. We have with us a member of the diaspora and our journalist colleague, Neville Johnson. Neville, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Richards.
Yes, sir. How is it in the big city today?
Well, there are some major social, economic, and political and environmental issues here in California. Those are the major concern at the moment.
Yes.
Yes, such as wildfires and climate change. The state has a budget deficit of over $12 billion.
Wow.
And there is a housing crisis and a homelessness situation in the state, as you might have known. And you also have the federal state legal conflict with the president's lawsuit. And you have immigration enforcement and ICE operations.
Yes.
And then you have the health access cost and transportation and infrastructure challenges as well, and the education inequality. So those are, as well as public opinions and civic frustrations. So those are some of the major concerns at the moment in here in California.
Okay. Well,
that is what people are really concerned about.
Yes. Let us look at the immigration, because as I indicated earlier on that there was a big demonstration in Cali over the immigration policies. So far, what is the latest on that, sir?
Okay. Well, basically, as you know, the state has been fighting what I would call very courageously to deal with the situation. And as you might have known, there has been over 1,600 people arrested, and the economic damage that has been done is over $32 million estimated so far.
Yes?
Yeah.
That $32 million represent what? What it represents?
Basically, that would be borne by the taxpayers in LA. Yes. It's basically damages.
You mean damages?
And that would also include.
You mean damages as a result from the demonstration?
Yes, demonstration, and that would also include police overtime, cleanup costs as well.
Yes.
So yes, and the number of troops which the president has deployed. It's over 4,000 National Guards and over 700 Marines.
They are still in town?
Basically, yes, they are still there, and things have been quelled to an extent. Yeah. So the the activity continues, and people are very, very concerned about just the impact, the social, the economic, as well as the psychological impact that everything is having.
Yes. Do you know what impact, if any, the policy so far is having on industries? So, for example, is it affecting workers in construction, farms, hospitality, health? Is that happening?
Yes, because a large number of immigrants, illegal immigrants, contribute to those to those sectors.
Yes.
So yes. So there are several figures going around that it has impacted on the socio-economic functions, and a total cost of over 10 to 11 billion dollars in terms of business losses.
Wow.
And there is a massive shortage in all of these industries at the moment, because those workers, some have either been removed and others are, under the, I would say, hiding in some areas of other states, as well as here in California.
Yes,
so
sir.
they are not going out to work. So they are afraid of being arrested and deported. And the situation in some of these cells, government-controlled cells, are not really humane, to say the least.
Yes, sir.
The conditions are bad. Yes, pregnant women have been arrested and placed in detention, and I mean it is just pernicious. It's just bad. It's just inhumane to see the conditions that some of these people have been rounded up in, and it is having negative impact on the operation of the economy in California.
Yeah.
Yes, California is losing a lot of money from such operation.
Okay. Yes. And
because the immigration community have contributed immensely to the economic growth and development of California.
Okay. I can well imagine that the situation must be very, very challenging for a lot of people right now.
Yes.
Yes. And I know that, California has a democratic governor. So politically, what is happening politically in the state?
All right. Before I go on to that, the last time I told you about the impact, and you have asked about the impact that the Trump policy is having on the economy in California.
Yes.
And if you look at sector by sector, as I have said before, immigrants make up between 30 and 34% of California's total workforce. Right. And in agriculture alone, it's 75%.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And in construction, it's between 41.5 and 43%.
Wow.
and in hospitality 60%. And then you have home health care and elder care. A lot of immigrants work there, and that's approximately 54%. And then if you look at the tech and engineering sector,
Yes.
these workers are highly skilled and very technical, and they make up between 29 and 30% of the high skilled STEM workers.
Yes, that's.
Yeah. Yes. And when you break down the dollar value, now immigrants contribute over $800 billion annually to California's 3.9 trillion GDP.
Okay.
And yes, and you can work the percentage out. It's between 21% approximately. Yeah.
Yes.
And roughly $240 billion of that is attributed to what we'd call undocumented, or they like to say illegal immigrants.
Yes.
And yes, and that would be in terms of consumption as well as taxes. So these people not only contribute the labor to build the economic structure, but they also buy a lot of goods and services while they are here. So that gives the economy what I would call a whirlwind effect so far. So the circular flow of income is very critical when it comes on these people, because they not only contribute their labor, but they also purchase. So there's a circular flow that exists in the Californian economy as a result of the immigrants.
Yes. So I can well imagine, Neville, that clampdown there must have a negative impact on California.
Not just a negative impact, a severe negative impact.
Yes.
Because at the moment, there is a deficit in the budget of $12 billion. Just translate that into Jamaican dollar, multiply that by the current exchange rate.
Yes.
And then you'd see what I am talking about.
No.
It's just unimaginary that any politician with any brain whatsoever can think or do such pernicious thing.
Yes.
I mean, it's just crazy.
Yes.
And if it continues, it's going to really have what I would call a major negative impact on the macroeconomic component of the United States.
Yes.
Because you're talking about other states where these things will be happening and are happening, and it's going to erode the economic activity of the United States.
Yes, sir.
So yes.
So I can really imagine.
And you're. Yes, go ahead.
No, I was saying,
yes.
I can just imagine that the management of the state, the political leaders and economic leaders, they must be working very hard now to really address these issues.
They are. And yes, because what happened, Desmond, immigrants, both documented and undocumented, pay in taxes that is in state and local taxes, $75 billion annually. Yes. And that is state and local taxes.
Yes.
And when you go through the data of the federal taxes that they pay, it's approximately between 148 and 150 billion US dollars. Just multiply that by the exchange rate in Jamaica.
Yes.
Right? And then you will see the significant amount of money that we're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
And if you break it down, undocumented immigrations alone pay 3.5 billion annually in California.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
sir.
from a monetary value, I mean, it is significant.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right.
This is something that really the as I said, the managers, both in the economy and politically, they must be working overtime, because this is negative, as you say. This is very negative. Yes.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah. And the impact is not just going to be felt in California, because remember, California exports lots of goods, agricultural produce, to other states as well. Yeah, so it's going to have what I'd call a domino effect on the national economy.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes. So we're not only looking at California, we're looking at the wider economic impact that will have on other states' GDP, employment, among others.
Yes, sir.
You know, new startup businesses, small businesses.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also on social services, health, education. It's going to be something which the American people have never experienced. Well, not in its modern age.
Yes. Yes, sir.
So it is pernicious. Right.
Yeah. And what is the Neville? What you know? What I would like to ask. I know that this is a state. This is the United States. So, but when you look at the city blacks in California, how are they progressing?
Okay. Well, okay. When you say how they are progressing, what do you mean?
Both economically and otherwise. In other words, do you find that some of the negatives, in other words, the education, the schools in California, the services, are in other words, are blacks getting served? Are they progressing?
Okay. Desmond, I always look at data, as you might have known. And I do not, people in Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, around the Caribbean and around the world, not supposed to believe everything that comes out of the white press in America.
Yes.
It is skewed and it is biased towards black and brown people.
Yes.
And I can say that categorically because I am here, I work in the media, and I have seen where news are screwed and skewed. I use two terms, screwed and skewed, okay?
Yes.
Against black and brown people. Okay? And you might have heard of how black and brown people are lazy.
Yes.
Now, the laziest people I come across are white people in America.
Yes.
Okay? And yeah, okay? So black and brown people are lazy, white people are lazy as well. Red and yellow people are lazy, okay?
Okay.
So let us look at the economic outcomes and wealth of black in California. Now, the socioeconomic outcome for black Californians, Desmond, improved by 21.7, 21.8%. Okay? Between 2000 and 2020.
Okay.
Now, yes, because these are data that is at my fingertip. I go through them because I have to do writing for other outlets as well.
Okay.
And their overall equality index score in 2020 was 0.69, meaning they remain 30% behind white Californians.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
Now, at the current pace, it would take nearly 247, 248 years to close this gap if there is not a major transformation of what I call class structure economic development within the black brown community. Removing what I call prejudices and prohibitions. Okay? Now, median household incomes for black families sits at around 56,800. And when I compare that to white household, white household sits at 92,100. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Now, home ownership rates are low. It's 31.9, 32% statewide. Now, only 12% in San Francisco versus 56 plus for white residents.
Yes.
So there is a disparity. And yes, and you can look at blacks in terms of education, academic outcomes. The graduation rate, 78% versus 89% for white students.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Then you have what I call chronic absenteeism, which is 33%, okay, versus 16% for white peers, white kids,
Yes.
white students, college, university, right across. Okay?
Yeah.
And only 18% graduate in terms of math proficiency. Around 30% meet English standards.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So these are some of the major issues. And it is not that these black and brown kids are lazy or anything, but you should also remember, because I teach some of these kids, black, white, Chinese, I teach some of them. And a lot of them do have low self-esteem because of their socioeconomic situation.
Yes, yes.
A lot of them, just the mother are there. The fathers are nowhere to be seen.
Father missing.
Yes, or even if they're at the home, it makes no sense because they do not act as if they are men.
Okay. Well, what's happening there? I lost. What happened to Mr. Johnson? I just lost him like that. Let me try and get him back. Yes. Yeah. I just lost you.
Yeah, I discovered that.
Yes.
Yes. So I was about to say that one of my male students told me that, yes, his father is at the house.
Yes.
But he acts like he's a sissy. He does not act like a real man.
Wow.
So I asked him, what do you mean? So he says, sir, his father does not make connection, does not see to hit that certain things is done, and everything is his mother, and his mother have to be telling the father, remember the bills, we have to pay.
Yes, yes.
I mean, he does not act and take, yes. So a lot of the kids are not motivated. They are not driven by certain, what I would call male figure stimulus, so to speak.
Yes.
Yes. So the father, and then you also have institutional bias. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
A lot of blacks who are trying to own their homes. There are real estate companies who do not want to provide
To deal with
blacks with black and brown people with loans.
Okay. Okay. Neville,
Or if they do, the interest rates are much higher.
Yes. Neville,
than whites.
Yes. And Neville, I tell you what.
Yes.
We have exhausted our time this week, but
okay.
You know we have to continue with these discussions because, as we say, these are discussions that affect the lives of the people, and that is what we are about. So,
and that's what we're about. Yes.
So let us say until next week.
Okay, my friend, and you be good and take care.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
All right. That was journalist Neville Johnson there, keeping us abreast of what is happening in California. Let's go for a break now. This is Rebel Radio.
It's the Everybody Sale at New Budget Supplies. Do-it-yourself professionals and contractors. This is the sale for you. Lumber, steel, dress and form ply, water tanks, pumps, PVC pipes and fittings, toilets, bathtubs, vanities and basins, windows, paint, doors, floor and wall tiles, thin sets and grout. Up to 20% off selected items. 195 Hagleyburg Road. Telephone 923-4560. New Budget Supplies. Always the best prices.
Tools, hardware, and supplies is turning up the heat this summer with their super saving summer sale. Prices are slashed on everything you need to fix up your home. Beautiful tiles, sleek doors, top quality windows, modern sanitary ware, exclusive flooring, and more. At Tools, hardware, and supplies, we have you covered for the summer.
So come visit us at 279 Spanish Town Road, 4 South Camp Road, 8 Red Hills Road,
or online at toolsja.com.
Tools!
The Lion King of Hard Hills.
Oh, Jamaica, rise, we're built with fire, passion and vibes, and through it all, there's a glow inside. Let's keep our shine alive.
From the market to the factory floors, from the hillside green to golden shores.
We're rich in kind, so energy that lights the sky. Shine bright, Jamaica. Shine bright, Jamaica. Feel the rhythm, we're on track. Feel it, feel it. Together we climb. JPS Jamaica. Together we shine.
Shine from the ends, shine with your family, shine with your friends. Light up the streets and make the vibes blend. Yo, JPS and make the shine never end.
Property for sale in Oak Bay, Portland, known as Hermitage Farm, located on the main road east of Oak Bay Police Station and west of Somerset Falls. Property size is 74 acres and includes a house with 5 bedrooms, 4,971 square feet, with water storage and a 3.5 acre coastal pond. Asking price US $2 million. For further information, kindly contact Kenneth Tomlinson, receiver, trustee, care of Business Recovery Services Limited, 11 Connolly Avenue, Kingston 4. Telephone number 876-948-001225. So that's 876-948-001225.
Yes, welcome back. And we have with us now Dr. Karen Dunkley, diaspora leader. Yes, and we are going to talk about what is happening over there in the Big Apple. This immigration policy. How is it affecting the Caribbean people and we in Jamaica? Good afternoon, Dr. Dunkley.
Good afternoon to you and your listeners, my dear. How are you? Big up?
Yes, I am supposed to be okay, ma'am. So
yes, we give thanks for life.
Yes, of course we have to. Now, this immigration, the new immigration policies, Dr. Dunkley. I mean, you have. I know you have been observing them. How so far? What have you seen so far? How is it affecting the people? Because we know that America is a land of immigrants.
Yes.
So
that's a great question.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what have you seen so far?
Great question, and thank you again for the opportunity.
Yes.
This is indeed an unprecedented time in the United States. The country, the United States, was built on slave and immigrant labor, certainly. And so we acknowledge and pay homage because everyone who lives in the United States outside of Native Americans are immigrants. And so we know that what we've seen happening is that the administration has had several sweeping immigration reform proposals which have taken effect. And I'm going to give you the top 3 immigration reforms so far since the new administration.
Mm-hmm.
Before I do that, I just want to say that there was a belief once upon a time that if you were naturalized in the United States, a naturalized citizen, that you wouldn't have no need to be concerned. But I think what we're seeing now is that even those who have quote unquote birthright citizenship or have been naturalized, that we need to pay attention. So the first impact of one of the immigration reform has been what we're calling the revocation of humanitarian parole and temporary protected status, otherwise known as TPS. TPS is really big for the region and our community. So for example, we know that the administration has moved to end TPS. This affects, of course, Haitian migrants. I think the research is showing approximately 500,000 of them, and a terminated TPS protection is really proposed for September 2nd. So this will make our Haitian brothers and sisters very vulnerable to deportation, despite we know the ongoing extreme violence and instability that is happening in Haiti.
Mm-hmm.
The other piece is that despite multiple federal courts attempting to block these moves and to reaffirm migrant protection, it's only reaffirmed through February 3rd, 2026. So as Jamaicans and as people in the region, we need to pay attention to TPS as well. And I think that is, and by the way, TPS is big because remember, these are that over 100,000 Desmond of these Haitians have lived legally into the U.S. for years.
Yes.
TPS also impacts Cuba, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. The other piece that is critical would be what we call humanitarian parole programs. And that typically was used to admit Caribbean nationals fleeing crisis. And this has been halted or scaled back. And so we now have, I think the estimated numbers are a little bit over 500,000 persons who are now at risk of removal or legal limbo because they're saying that they no longer will adhere to these humanitarian parole programs. And so again, Caribbean migrants will face deportation. There's certainly uncertainty. You might recall seeing a video that went viral with a Jamaican who went to his hearing and the Immigration's Customs Enforcement Agency arrested him. In addition to the risk of deportation and the uncertainty, could be quite frankly the loss of work authorization. There is a Jamaican right now who was featured in the New York Times who was deported. He was out of status in the sense, no, he was in status. He had some immigration, well, not immigration, some legal happenings. He stayed in status, went to his hearing, would report to them. He got a call from his officer who told him to come in immediately. He went in with his lawyer. They separated his lawyer and him and deported him back to Jamaica. And so you may recall Blair Nascimento, his story that made the New York Times. And so when you ask about the impact, we have to think about what is humanitarian parole and TPS and how we're impacted by TPS. The second impact that I would speak of broadly is this expansion of deportation and detention policies. So we know that the administration has now expanded deportation priorities and increase the use of detention centers, including the consideration to use Guantanamo Bay for migrants intercepted at sea. And you might recall that Guantanamo Bay, the use of Guantanamo Bay certainly is not it's not new, but historically it's been one of the spaces where they have practiced all types of what you would call interesting methods of coercion at Guantanamo Bay. In a court ruling in May 20... Okay, go ahead, Desmond.
No, I'm listening to you. You go ahead.
Yeah, a court ruling in May 2025 has also, and this is a United States Supreme Court ruling, has allowed Trump to proceed with revoking parole for hundreds of thousands of migrants, including Caribbean nationals. So now when I just came up, Desmond, you meet a Jamaican, and our Jamaican men tend to get in trouble around drugs, around domestic disputes, around just a nuance, a lot of different things. And so their parole, they try to get on the straight and narrow. Well, May 2025, Trump, the U.S. Supreme said, that this administration can revoke parole. And so parole is no longer a pathway to citizenship. Once you come out, you will be able to stay as long as you do the right thing. So the result, of course, is going to be more aggressive ICE action, immigration customs enforcement, and really, quite frankly, actually an effect on those seeking legal support or basic services. So you might recall that, did you see the story, Des, where a young lady was killed up here by her boyfriend? Both of them out of status in the Bronx. Did you read that story in the Gleaner?
Yes, I'm trying to remember that story, yes. I think I have
it just came out.
Yes.
Yeah, well, both of them are out of status, and she got married, and I can't opine. It's not my place why she got married. But she was killed. But my sense is that the young lady probably never seeked help, God rest her soul, because she was out of status and perhaps didn't want to be on the radar of ICE.
Yes.
Now, the sad piece of that story is that the 11-year-old is undocumented, but the 2-year-old was born in America. So the question is, what will happen to those children? What becomes of the 11-year-old, and what happens to the 2-year-old?
Yes.
Siblings, right? So these are real life. We don't have to look at Haiti. We don't have to look at other nationalities. Real life Jamaicans. What is happening to us in America?
Yes.
The third, so we spoke about the first two. impact the humanitarian parole and TPS, temporary protected status, the expansion of deportation and detention policies. And I know 2 Jamaicans now who are in Jamaica as a result of that. The third is the suspension of refugee admissions and threats to birthright citizenship. Now remember that refugee admissions for at least 90 days the administration did suspend, and they are uncertain about when or if they will resume. And this affects Caribbean nationals seeking asylum from political instability or natural disasters.
Yes,
The other piece, which is very new, is the proposed executive action to restrict birthright citizenship. Therefore,
yes, that one is very
Right?
very shocking. Because let me understand something here, Dr. Dunkley. Does it mean?
Yes.
Because let me point out something, and you might know this. You know that there are Jamaican women I know in the past who are pregnant in Jamaica, but go to the United States to give birth in order for their children to become U.S. citizens. Now, what this new amendment is saying, is it a case where if you are born in America and your parents are undocumented, that you are not an American? Is that what it is saying?
Yes, that is correct. So this, you raise very compelling points, Desmond. You talk up the things them. This executive action to restrict birthright citizenship is going to impact children born in the U.S. to Caribbean immigrants without permanent status. Basically, what it purports is simply this. If it is that you are the child of a parent where the immigration status is undocumented or non-citizen, then what Trump's position is, according to President, is that you should not be entitled to American citizenship. Remember that birthright citizenship is enshrined in the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. It says all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States. Yes. So this means any child born on U.S. soil, regardless of the parent's immigration status, is automatically granted citizenship. Yes. What this administration is saying is absolutely not. This concept of an anchor baby, what you're speaking about, Desmond, is an anchor baby. And anchor babies, by the way, Caribbean immigrants and, for example, even Jamaican, we're not really known for using anchor babies. The countries which use the notion of anchor babies mostly are not us as Caribbean people, but mainly those countries from Europe. So Mexico have the highest number of anchor babies, Central American countries, Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, China and India. They, in fact, they call it birth tourism. And then you have some smaller version in terms of Niger and other West African nations. Of course, Jamaicans are included, but you have Haiti, Jamaican, and Dominican Republic. So these are the countries most commonly associated with the highest number of U.S.-born children to non-citizen parents, which they call anchor babies. And Trump, or this administration, quite frankly, saying no, that these children should not be considered citizens.
Wow. Yes, that is going to impact a lot of children. Yes. And based on what I have been following so far is that what the U.S. court has said, the decision by the court is in agreement with what the president's position. Is that so?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. The courts concur. The courts have shared that they support that interpretation. Now, here is you point out something, and I hope that everybody is waking up. The legal status of U.S.-born children are at risk. So if it is that their parents are undocumented, or if they're on the TPS, it means that they could be denied citizenship. So which country would they be the citizen of?
No, that is a big question, Dr. Donkey. Which country they would be citizens of? Which country? Because they were born in America.
Which country?
No, they were born in America. So, I mean, their parents are Jamaican, undocumented. But they were not born in Jamaica. So they would have to be naturalized. So
that's right.
What we are looking at now is that there is the possibility then, Dr. Dunkley, that children can be deported too.
Yes, but they have deported children. Remember that there is a gentleman who, where did he go back to? Let me see if I can find it. Let me get on my devices. I'm going to send it to you. Yes. He is never, I think it's Grenada. He's never even visited. Mm-hmm. And then they sent him back. He lived in the U.S. for 50 years. So you're going to have family fragmentation. Mm-hmm. The legal status of U.S.-born children are at risk. They're in legal limbo. Then loss of access to services. What happens to education? You can't register them. No. What happened to healthcare benefits? How are they going to be authorized to work? How are they going to obtain social security numbers? What are the legal protections? How will they access legal protections tied to citizenship? So this is the potential impact on Caribbean families.
Yes.
So this is not ha-ha-he-he. This is a really critical conundrum.
Oh my. Dr. Donkey, I can well imagine that right now in the States there must be a lot of people right now who are very traumatized by what is happening. I can well imagine that. Because people must be there who were working but are now hiding, not going to work. Right? And they are fearing, looking out for ICE, so they are hiding. Then it also must impact on the workplaces, because if workers who are working in construction, farms, hospitality, and all those other jobs who are not able to go to work now. So I can really imagine that there is issues at the workplace, and there must be issues in their individual lives because they are not working. The situation there must be challenging.
Must be challenging. You said it. Yeah. And imagine the lack of social network. I think there was a guy by the name of Perilous. He went back, in just recently, I think, in February 2021. Mm-hmm. He went back on the Trump era policy. Come fast forward to 2025. You have Nascimento Blair, and I can speak to Nascimento to see if he's willing to come on your program, because that would be good. And then, you heard about the Jermaine Thomas, who was born on a U.S. Army base in Germany to an American father, yet still they send him to Jamaica, though he has never lived in Jamaica. So these are the kinds of instances, kinds of situations where people have to deal.
Wow. No, Dr. Dunkley, I can well imagine what is happening in the United States. The people. Then the other thing I saw a report the other day where I think he's a Latin American brother who actually he campaigned for Trump. And then he was picked up by ICE, and they show him now he's being there preparing him to deport him. So I can really imagine that a lot of people who voted for Trump, they must be disappointed now, because they were under the impression that what the president was talking about is to get rid of those persons who have breached the laws in America and are delinquents. But as it turned out now, is that people who are working people they are now facing serious problems. No. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
So you have actually encountered Jamaicans and other Caribbean people who are now facing the music. Is that
Yes, they are.
Oh my. Yes.
Well, here's what we do know.
Yes.
Have you looked at Project 2025?
If I have done what?
Yeah, looked at Project 2025. So a lot of what we see here is written in Project 2025.
Okay.
Right? So we know under Project 2025, it supports expedited removals, allowing deportations without court hearings for immigrants anywhere in the U.S. Remember, due process was always granted,
Yes.
And they're saying, we want to eliminate due process, right? And we see, if you look at, I think it was Trump executive order, one of them echoes a calling for the expanded use of expedited removal and empowering ICE to conduct deportations far beyond what we know as border zones. So when you speak about it being critical and people who are working, it's going after everyone. And a lot of Latinos now come out and say that they're saying that they were betrayed. But that is a complex conversation because there's so much anti-Blackness within Latin American communities that they felt that this would not impact them. It would only impact so-called, quote-unquote, Black people. So those are very complex conversations that require deeper analysis. Project 2025 called for the detention and expansion of internment camps, the funding of ICE to expand. And so look at what's going on with Alligator Alcatraz. That's coming back. I spoke to you about Guantanamo Bay earlier.
Yes.
Dismantling agencies such as Department of Homeland Services, right? And consolidating immigration functions into a new centralized agency under presidential control. So we see that this budget cycle expanded ICE. So what you're sharing is of critical importance. It affects Jamaicans living at home because imagine all of these people returning to Jamaica, no infrastructure, no safety net. What is going to happen? There's no infrastructure to accept these people coming back to Jamaica.
No.
Jamaica, look at the healthcare, look at education. Which agency can take an 11-year-old who's undocumented back to ensure now that they're going to reconcile them to some family linkage in Jamaica? Who even knows what that family linkage is?
Yes. No, it is very serious, Dr. Dunkley, very serious. Because some of these people, they have no linkage at all in Jamaica. They were born in America. They lived in America, right? And for you to just send them back to Jamaica now, who, as you said, which agency is going to take care of them? Which agency? How are they going to be housed and provided with all the basic facilities that is needed to maintain human decency? It's a very serious problem.
That is exactly right.
It's a very serious problem, and it is something that, well, I don't even know how it is going to be tackled. I don't know. But I know that right now is a challenging time for a lot of people. Yes. Well, Dr. Dunkley, we have to keep these, we have to continue this discussion, because these are issues which affect the lives of the people. But we have exhausted our time for this afternoon. So let us say to be continued, and thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Desmond. Big up to you, big up to Rebel Radio, enough respect, and we look forward to coming again and to educate the people. Thank you. Only Rasta can liberate the people.
Yes.
One love.
Thank you very much, Dr. Karen Dunkley there, diaspora sport leader. And you heard that situation. It is really challenging. And I can well imagine that you know, the lives of so many people right now disrupted, and people are really, really under pressure. Not good at all. Let us take a break. And, you know, coming up next is food security. This is Rebel Radio.
It's the Everybody Sale at New Budget Supplies. Do-it-yourself professionals and contractors. This is the sale for you. Lumber, steel, dress and form ply, water tanks, pumps, PVC pipes and fittings, toilets, bathtubs, vanities and basins, windows, paint, doors, floor and wall tiles, thin sets and grout. Up to 20% off selected items. 195 Hagleyburg Road. Telephone 923-4560. New Budget Supplies. Always the best prices.
Tools, hardware, and supplies is turning up the heat this summer with their super saving summer sale. Prices are slashed on everything you need to fix up your home. Beautiful tiles, sleek doors, top quality windows, modern sanitary ware, exclusive flooring, and more. At Tools, hardware, and supplies, we have you covered for the summer.
So come visit us at 279 Spanish Town Road, 4 South Camp Road, 8 Red Hills Road,
or online at toolsja.com.
Tools!
The Lion King of Hardware.
Oh, Jamaica rise, we're built with fire, passion and vibes, and through it all there's a glow inside. Let's keep our shine alive.
From the market to the factory floors, from the hillside green to golden shores.
We're rich in minds, so energy that lights the sky. Shine bright, Jamaica. Shine bright, Jamaica. Feel the rhythm, we're on track. Feel it, feel it. Together we climb. JPS Jamaica. Together we shine.
Shine from the ends, shine with your family, shine with your friends. Light up the streets and make the vibes blend. Your JPS and make the shine never end.
Property for sale in Oak Bay, Portland, known as Hermitage Farm, located on the main road east of Oak Bay Police Station and west of Somerset Falls. Property size is 74 acres and includes a house with 5 bedrooms, 4,971 square feet, with water storage and a 3.5 acre coastal pond. Asking price US $2 million. For further information, kindly contact Kenneth Tomlinson, receiver, trustee, care of Business Recovery Services Limited, 11 Connolly Avenue, Kingston 4. Telephone number 876-948-001225. So that's 876-948-001225.
He's always there for me. So no matter what the circumstances may be, no, God is always there for me. Yeah. Through the sunshine or through the rain, through the pleasure or through the pain, God is always there for me. So I met this old man. He was so poor, didn't hold no bed, so we slept on the floor. He's always smiling, never heard him complain. He said I've proven God again and again. So no matter what the circumstances may be, God is always there for me. Yeah. Through the sunshine or through the rain, through the pleasure or through the pain, God is always there for me. No matter what the circumstances may be, yeah, God is always there for me. Yeah. circumstances, baby. Yeah, God is always there for me. Yeah, through the sunshine or through the rain, through the pleasure or through the pain, God is always there for me. So no matter what the circumstances, baby, God is always there for me. Yeah, through the good times or through the bad, through the happy times or through the sad, God is always there for me. I met this old man, he was so poor, he didn't hold a bat, so we slept on the floor. He's always smiling, I never heard him complain. He said I've proven God again and again. So no matter what the circumstances, baby, God is always there for me. Yeah, through the sunshine or through the rain, through the pleasure or through the pain, God is always there for me. No matter what the circumstances, baby, no, God is always there for me. Yeah, through the good times or through the bad, through the happy times or through the no power on earth to separate me from your love, my Jesus. Nothing will be able to turn me away from you. I love you, Father. Anyhow, the afflictions of the righteous, the hearts of men getting more and more vicious. Brutality is on the increase. Tell me, when the love of God sees no power on earth to separate me from your love, my Jesus, nothing will be able to turn me away from you. I love you, Father. This level of crime, only love can eradicate. We must demand justice from the church and the state, and confess to God all our evil ways. And He will give us so much better days when we show love to each and every brother. Love will return to protect him, mother, daughter, sister. Let's hope in our heart to those who are in need, who never receive love. Come, let's sow some seed. No power on earth to separate me from love. Love, my Jesus, nothing will be able to turn me away from you. I love you, Heavenly Father. No power on earth to separate me from love. I love you, my Jesus. Nothing will be able to turn me away from you. No, 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 no power on earth to separate me from you. No power, no, oh no, down to his last breath, hanging there and can't wait. When he turned to the master and said, Lord of mercy on me, he was just a broken vessel. Then Jesus washed away his sins, 'cause there's none a broken vessel that God can make. Oh, there's not a broken vessel God can't make. Yeah. When the whole world turns its back on you, Jesus will be your friend. He will pick up all the pieces, time and time again, 'cause there's not a broken vessel that God can't make. Lord Almighty, Jesus sees the potter, and we are just the clay. And even when the vessel is broken, he won't throw the clay away. Bring him all of your borders, your troubles and your sin, 'cause there's not a broken vessel Almighty God can make. Yeah, yeah. There's not a broken vessel that God can make. Yeah, yeah. When the whole world turns its back on you, Jesus will always be your friend. He will pick up all the pieces, time and time again, 'cause there's not a broken vessel that God can't make. Yeah, yeah. There's not a broken vessel that God can't make. Yeah. When the whole world turns its back on you, Jesus will always be your friend. He will pick up all the pieces, time and time again, 'cause there's not a broken vessel God can make. Can't even walk without you holding my hand. I thought number one would surely be me. I thought I could be what I wanted to be. I thought of myself as a mighty big man, but I can't even walk without you holding my hand. Thank you, Jesus. Can't even walk without you holding my hand. The mountain's too high and the valley is too wide. Down on my knees, I've learned to stay, that I can't even walk without you holding my hand. Help me, Jesus. Yeah. ain't gonna call. And if I don't trust it, I'd be less than a man. 'Cause I can't even walk without you holding my hand. Oh Lord, can't even walk without you holding my hands. The mountain's too high and the valley's too wide. Down on my knees, I've learned to stay. Can't even walk without you holding my hand. Thank you, Jesus, for all you have done for me right now. You've been so good to me. I thought number one would surely be me. I thought I could be what I wanted to be. I thought of myself as a mighty big man, but I can't even walk without you holding my hand. Right, Father, can't even walk without you holding my hand. The mountain is too high and the valley is too wide. Down on my knees, I've learned to stay. Can't even walk without you holding my hand. Lord have mercy. Can't even walk without you holding my hands. The mountain's too high and the valley is too wide. Down on my knees.
Radio. And it's time for food security. Yes. And we have with us this evening Mr. James Paul, who is the president of the Barbados Association Agri Society. We have Mr. Stephen Lane, who is from the Barbados Eggs and Poultry Association. And we have Mr. Sharice Khan, who is a cattle farmer over there in Trinidad. And gentlemen, good afternoon to you.
Hi.
Oh,
Good
pleasant afternoon to you, my brother. How are you?
Yes. Now, based on a previous discussion I had with Mr. Paul, I know he has to leave for a meeting. But Mr. Paul, what we want to talk about this evening, we started this discussion some weeks ago, where we want to look at what we must do, the plans that we must make in order to unite the Caribbean farmers about steps that must be taken to strengthen the agricultural sector. And I recall the last time we spoke, you had pointed us to an organization that is already on the table. But since you have to go, you want to open the bowling for us this evening, Mr. Paul?
Okay, thank you. I want to say good afternoon to everyone. Actually, remember, I'm the CEO, I'm the President, Chief Executive Officer of the Barbados Agricultural Society. Just want to say, Mr. Lane is the President of the Barbados Egg and Poultry Producers Association, one of our members. But just to go back in terms of the question that you asked specifically, the most important thing really is I think that we are trying to focus on trying to get Japan functioning properly again. And basically, as I said before, we had made contact with the Jamaica Agricultural Society, the Trinidad and Tobago Agricultural Society, with a view to see if we can get these organizations functioning. I'm becoming more active in the institution in itself. So I've been doing some work in terms of trying to get things function in the way they're supposed to function. And once we can get these organizations going, we are also, of course, in discussions with Grenada in terms of farmer representatives down there. And we are trying to also make links in Ghana. The object really, of course, is that, by discussing issues of importance to farmers in the region, when trade bodies such as the CARICOM quoted meets, Council for Trade and Economic Development, I think CARICOM, the farmers, of course, will be able to ensure that decisions are arrived at that are more in line with their own interests, rather than a narrow group of interests as is happening right now. As it stands, we cannot be in a situation where the farmers and agriculture as a whole are underrepresented at meetings of protest because there's no active consultation with the farming bodies in the region.
Yes. So,
I am in total support of what Mr. James Paul has just presented, because we are left to the wolves as individuals, and hence the reason my first interview with you and together with Mr. Paul and all the others. Hey, by the way, pleasant good afternoon to each and everyone. My humble apology.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah. So I am in total agreement, because what happened is that the decisions, the budget allocation, the planning, when the ministers of agriculture meet, when the chief veterinary officers of the Caribbean meet, when all the presidents and prime ministers meet, I don't think we as the farmers in the Caribbean are giving the respect and the support that is necessary. So Mr. Paul is quite right Brother Paul is quite right in his assumption that we have to put people together, and that's the only way in the Caribbean we will be able to move forward as farmers and as agriculturists.
Yes. So Mr. Paul has suggested that we have to make contacts with the Jamaica Agricultural Society. That is the society organization representing farmers in Jamaica. Need to make link with the organization representing farmers in Guyana and in the other Caribbean islands. That is the first step. And then we outline to them what we want to do. So, Mr. Paul, you have contacts for these organizations?
Yes, I do. And we have already, of course, had some discussions. I think we were supposed to meet, but sometimes when you have to organize these meetings, especially when you're in different islands, it's very difficult. But we're going to keep trying. I also want to make this point that sometimes we have a way of asking to satisfy political priorities rather than the real priorities of any individual sector. Because I know in today's world, politicians like to engage in a lot of breastbeating, thinking that they have the only ideas in terms of doing anything. And that is how they win votes, in terms of by making people feel that the only way it can happen is through them. And that they come up with the grandest of ideas. And when, of course, things happen within the sector, they look to get accolades because that is the way of getting votes. We need to move away from that type of populist representation in the region, where instead we have political representatives, politicians, and leaders that consult with the stakeholders in the individual sectors and try to find out what they need to do to meet the needs of the individual sectors. And we must also recognize that if a sector actually succeeds, it is not because of the fact that the politician is up there doing anything special or waving any magic wand. It is because of the fact that the actors in the sector, whether or not be farmers or who, and farmers especially, are doing what is necessary to make their particular sector successful. So if you hear, for instance, of increased production, in, for instance, the pork, pig, or whatever sector, it does not come about as a result of any initiative on the part of any politics. But really what it does comes from the hard work that is put in by individual farmers, right? Brother, if you're talking about the fruit and vegetable sector, right, it is hard work something that is put in, and most of the time, by the individual farmers in order to make it work. But they don't get invited to the table, or their voices are not heard, right? And the thing is really that one of the greatest challenges that we have in the sector in the region are these crash programs that come in from time to time in order to win votes, rather than to bring any long sustained development in the sector. And that is what we need to keep focused on as far as that is concerned, okay? And make sure that we get real success in agriculture within the region.
Yes, yes. Let me hear from Mr. Lane. Mr. Lane, what is your take?
Thank you, Tommy, for your invitation today. As I explained to you, today is an extremely rough day. I'm doing more work than, in fact, some undertakers are, but that is the nature of life. Just let me say, I recognize and accept what Mr. Paul is saying. He attended a funeral a couple of days ago. I don't think he went to the cemetery, but much to my surprise, on my way to the cemetery, a fairly new one, maybe only about 10 years in existence, that took up considerable our prime agricultural lands. And they are about to expand. But to my shock and surprise, on my way to the cemetery yesterday, I saw serious development on a plantation that is known to be the most successful in terms of production of sugarcane for our cane industry. Barbados have a successful rum industry, but I don't think that we are aware that without sugarcane and our ability to produce molasses, that our multi-million-dollar rum industry will not exist. And I hope that those that are in charge will recognize this. But at a plantation that have the oldest slave burial place in Barbados, that is, and not in Barbados, but in the Caribbean, that is recognized. Further development of about 50 acres of land, I noticed yesterday, are going into development. The land has been cleared, construction is happening. That is a major concern to us in the agricultural sector. Marginal lands are not being taken up to put structures on. They're taking the lands that are already in good agricultural condition, flat lands. And Barbados is not like Jamaica. I know farmers. I know I know Jamaica very well. And Trinidad, especially northern part of Trinidad, with the mountains. Barbados is relatively flat, but we have escarpments where hilly lands that are marginal, that we can do this construction of houses and other developments in. And I think it's a pity that our prime agricultural land in a place called Newton, where the burial ground that I just mentioned to you, really good agricultural land that have significantly produced high yields of sugarcane, is being cleared and construction is going on. It was a heartbreak for me. I mean, I was going to a solemn occasion just 5 minutes away from that, and that just made my day more difficult. But I think that Mr. Paul is well aware. He's doing an excellent job in terms of the overall commodity groups, not only for Barbados egg and poultry that I had but we had up 7 commodity groups. And he's doing an excellent job in Barbados, pushing the agenda. He's probably making some enemies for himself within certain political areas, but he's fearless, and I really appreciate, and I want to say it here, that he's doing an excellent job, maybe making some sacrifices, like as we all are, but he is aware that we need to secure food security, and food security is going to become more challenging. And I know we can get very intensive and we can have all these conversations, but the reality, as we lead into wars and rumors of wars, that we have a responsibility to our citizens to make sure that enough space, enough arable land is in place that we can feed our nation. In 1943, going to 1945, Barbados, a small island, was exporting significant food crop to the UK for the war effort. And I think that we, with reduced land acreage, that we need to be able to do that to secure food for our country. United States is having a problem with providing adequate amount of soya and other problems that they're having because of the political decisions that are being made. But we in the Caribbean cannot leave it to imports, assuming at this time that they might be relatively cheap to compare with local costs. We cannot leave it that we need to be in a place where we can provide that security for our nation. If we can't do that, we will have chaos in these islands. Ghana seems to be doing an excellent job. It would appear Ghana seems to be doing an excellent job right now in terms of pushing the agriculture forward. But that is why I'm reading. But I'm not privileged to the meetings that Mr. Paul was just alluding to. I am not privileged to that, so I don't know for certain. But there's talk out there that Guyana is doing excellent, and we need to congratulate them. But we also need to do that in Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, and Barbados, Grenada, everywhere in the Caribbean. We need the politicians to understand that we have to provide security of food and employment at the same time, because employment is very important within this region. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, don't. I want, gentlemen, I would like all three of you just hold it there for me. We are going to take a break. This is Food Security on Rebel Radio. Let us take a break.
It's the Everybody Sale at New Budget Supplies. Do-it-yourself professionals and contractors. This is the sale for you. Lumber, steel, dress and form ply, water tanks, pumps, PVC pipes and fittings, toilets, bathtubs, vanities and basins, windows, paint, doors, floor and wall tiles, thin sets and grout. Up to 20% off selected items. 195 Hagleyburg Road. Telephone 923-4560. New Budget Supplies. Always the best prices.
Tools, Hardware and Supplies is turning up the heat this summer with their super saving summer sale. Prices are slashed on everything you need to fix up your home. Beautiful tiles, sleek doors, top quality windows, modern sanitary ware, exclusive flooring and more. At Tools, Hardware and Supplies, we have you covered for the summer.
So come visit us at 279 Spanish Town Road, 4 South Camp Road, 8 Red Hills Road,
or online at toolsja.com.
Tools!
The Lion King of Hardware.
And vibes, and through it all there's a glow inside. Let's keep our shine alive.
From the market to the factory floors, from the hillside green to golden shores,
we're reaching heights, our energy that lights the sky. Shine bright, Jamaica. Shine bright, Jamaica. Feel the rhythm, we're on track. Feel it, feel it. Together we rise, together we climb. JPS Jamaica, together we
in Oak Bay, Portland, known as Hermitage Farm, located on the main road east of Oak Bay Police Station and west of Somerset Falls. Property size is 74 acres and includes a house with 5 bedrooms, 4,971 square feet, with water storage and a 3.5 acre coastal pond. Asking price US $2 million. For further information, kindly contact Kenneth Tomlinson, receiver, trustee, care of Business Recovery Services Limited, 11 Connolly Avenue, Kingston 4. Telephone number 876-948-001225. So that's 876-948-001225.
Welcome back to Rebel Radio. We are talking about food security and looking at what the agricultural sector must do in the Caribbean in order to improve food security and to make sure that the sector grow. Mr. Lane made a point earlier on about prime agricultural lands being used for housing development. And that is an issue that we are facing. The farmers in Jamaica are facing that also. And I don't know, Mr. Khan, in Trinidad, do the farmers in Trinidad, are they seeing that too? Is that happening in Trinidad?
Yes. In Trinidad, I'm sure the whole world and the Caribbean would have noticed in 2011 the massive destruction of thousands of acres of land that was destroyed in agriculture for housing. That has not stopped there. It started and continued in a very in a lower rate. But what happened is that with the closure of the Carney way back in 2000, Carney 1975 Limited, where over 76,000 acres of land was abandoned for cane. I'm sure that rang through the world with plenty disheartened understanding of why they should do something like that. And additionally, in 2018, with Petrotin closure, was another 70-something acres of 1,000 acres of land that was left abandoned from a very huge dairy sector and meat sector, because they had hundreds of beef cows and hundreds of dairy cows. So based on that, from way back in 2000, we were producing 14 million liters of milk a year, and we are right now down to barely a billion liters of milk per year. So that could tell you the drastic change our economy suffered, and all because of the term globalization, and it was cheaper to get things outside, it's cheaper than to produce it here. So we are faced with similar dilemma, and we are suffering because of that, because our food import bill at this time is $8 billion. The politicians would like to play games with it, but we have listened to a very important economist that made it out to be more than $8 billion a year in Trinidad and Tobago. And I will tell you something. Majority of the things that comes into this country is basically that half of it.
What? Repeat that, Mr. Khan.
So we have a situation where Caribbean producers, we have no respect for what we can achieve in the Caribbean. But our politicians continue to play the game that they give it lip service and give it meager budget and continue to play us in terms of where we want to take agriculture. Mm-hmm. So I think with this movement of what here, it is something that is very critical for us to go forward. I stress on this because I know for a fact that within the region we can achieve this. We could achieve this and we should achieve it because to the mere fact of what taking place right now in the US. I share the videos. I don't know if Mr. Desmond and James had a time to look at it and share it with others. But that is a very serious thing that is happening in the US and what's going to take place with us in food security.
All right, Desmond, I have to run now because I have a meeting to start. But I would just like to say, right, that this whole issue of the alienation of agricultural land is something that we want to treat very seriously. And again, that is something that we need to tackle at the regional level, which we need to hear the voices of the individual farmers organizations speaking to at the same time. But I have to run now. I really need to because the meeting is about to start. And I really want to join the subsequent program, but I just have to go now. Thank you.
Yes, sir. And let us say to be continued, Mr. Paul. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Paul has left us. But Mr. Khan and Mr. Lane, we can see that Mr. Lane, let me just you represent the Egg and Poultry Association in Barbados. Now, tell us something. What is the status of that? Is Barbados producing? In other words, do you import eggs and chickens in Barbados, or Barbados produce enough to satisfy its demand?
We have a fairly vibrant industry in Barbados, but still, one of the government agencies, it is known as the Barbados Agricultural Development Corporation, on the right to import X amount of poultry, and I think that this is done. It is chicken wings, mainly chicken wings, from certain countries. They've been having challenges because one minute you're importing from Europe, mainly Britain, but when there's an outbreak there with avian influenza, and you switch to the United States, and then there is a challenge there. But I recognize that the role of the BADMC and they import about 10%, and that is important. That is important for the survival of the management company, which is a government agency. But we have been expanding. The larger companies, one of them is Chipmunk, a significant company. They're right now expanding into 5 more townhouses in the region, nearly 40,000 birds per house. So we are doing the right things in those areas. But the most important thing is that there are hundreds of egg and broiler producers, which are very small people that depend on this for livelihood. Importantly, there are a significant number of women who, in fact, are producing poultry. Some of them are working outside of this, and they might be producing between 500, 1,000, some of them up to 6,000 and 8,000 birds in terms of broiler meat. So we need to give them an opportunity to have the opportunity to support their family and have a profitable poultry industry in Barbados. Recently, we have some problems with eggs. There are those making applications to import eggs outside of the region. I objected to it. Mr. Paul objected in a very strong way, and we were able to force the hands of those. We were able to get eggs from Trinidad and Tobago, and good quality eggs. I went to a meeting only last week And there was arguments being made that Trinidad and Tobago cannot support all of the eggs. I said, but if we didn't traditionally import eggs from Trinidad and Tobago, a protocol had to be put in place to see if we can safely import eggs from Trinidad and Tobago. The chief veterinary officer within the Ministry of Agriculture did his due diligence, and it was determined it was safe to import eggs. So we have imported eggs from Trinidad and Tobago. At the end of this month, we will import. We don't have to import that much, but we will import 1 40-foot container of eggs from Trinidad and Tobago. And at the end, coming towards the end of November, we will import 2 40-foot containers of eggs to make sure that our eggs market is secure. And the prices are good from our neighbors in Trinidad and Tobago. They're not price gouging, and they're not playing games with us. And I think this is where we need to go within the region. We need to support our region. It is certainly my position as head of the Egg and Poultry Group. But I'm also a member of the wider BS, and I serve on the board of BS. So I'm well aware of what's happening with pork and what is happening with food crops and things like that. We need to have...
just hold it there. Let me try and get the president of the Small Ruminants Association in Jamaica. Just a second. 1 second, gentlemen. Just a second. Let me try and get Mr. Bernard with us. B-R-N-A-R-D, Trevor Bernard. Yes, gentlemen, back with you. I'm trying to get Mr. Bernard to see. Oh, all right.
Hello?
Yes, Mr. Bernard. Thank you for joining. We have with us Mr. Shiraz Khan out of Trinidad, and Mr. Stephen Lane, who is the president of the Eggs and Poultry Association in Barbados. Gentlemen, this is Mr. Trevor Bernard, the president of the Small Ruminants Society in Jamaica. Mr. Bernard, what we are talking about is that we are linking up with the Caribbean farmers, because what we are looking at is what must be done to strengthen the agricultural sector in the Caribbean so that we can protect food security. That is what we are about, right? So I know you have thoughts on that. You want to just say what you think about that?
Yes. My take on it is really that we need to put more lands into production. We need to, for example, on the small ruminant side, we need to put more lands into forage production. Provide feed for the animals. That is the main thing that I think we need to do. Put more larger acreages of lands into production.
Yes.
And we need to take it more serious. That is the main thing that I would like to see.
The last time we spoke.
I totally agree with you, brother. By the way, this is Shaz, president of the Ship and Gold Society in Trinidad and Tobago for some years.
Right.
But we fought in 2014 to start what we call a forage bank. And come change our government into 2016, 2017, where we used to be baling grass and making grass, bale grass and fresh silage available to farmers. and all our contract workers was pulled from the project, and since then to now we have not been able to build one grass, and all the equipment is then rotting away. You know, so this is how serious the administration takes agriculture, and I share your pain because I could really understand in 2006, I think it was, when I visited under the CTA, Jamaica. We visited Barbados in the production of sheep and goat and dairy. And it's needed throughout the Caribbean, but yet our leaders not seeing this importance of this significant change with what's taking place globally. And it's not that they are seeing the news that you and I are seeing or the stories on Facebook. It's just that the political decision of the protection of importers.
Yes,
You know?
yes, that is true.
While
Yes.
I want to congratulate Mr. Clark way back in the early 2000, when Jamaica take the bold move to put a tariff of 90-something% on importation of beef and lamb and goat, and then they started in Jamaica with making curry goat into every restaurant and barmy bread, thereby encouraging the sector into production. I wish some of the Caribbean brothers could take up initiative like that and force your local producers into production. Yeah?
Yeah, because we're importing. If you look at livestock, you know, a lot of the feeding is imported. A lot of everything is imported, and you know, chicken feed, egg, everything is imported, and we need to produce a lot more of it, because if we have some kind of pandemic or something happens, you know, in a real way, it could shut down a lot of these sectors, and the production of all of these sectors, it will affect it in a huge, huge way. So we need to become more self-sufficient in production of feed to feed these animals, you know, and the byproducts, even the byproducts that come from it. We need to be, you know, producing more and doing all of these byproducts. But you see, what happens, I think, in a lot of instances is that, as you said before, there's more benefits to the retail market, you know, to buying and selling, and there's more money there, and there is a lot more money. If you look at agricultural lands, there's a lot more money in putting agricultural lands into housing and this kind of thing, you know. There's more money into it, so agriculture get left back sometimes, you know.
Mr. Karen, my experience in Barbados is that there are wealthy families who traditionally would have grown sugarcane. And I don't mean to disparage them, but they have allowed lands to go in out of production, and it becomes an eyesore. It does not serve the country well, but they leave it there for a certain period of time. I'm not sure if this happened. I don't think it was happening to that degree when I was in Jamaica or Trinidad. But then applications are made to the what it was called then the town and country planning for development of these lands and into alternate purposes, even though some of them, because Barbados is fairly small, and some of them were in the areas where we call Zone A, which represents the area where we collect our potable water through our aquifers for. But they have been modifying that gradually, saying that you can put systems in place to protect the potable water, and therefore selling off land that would have been sold at 50 cents per square foot if it was agriculture, up to $20 per square foot for development into housing and other areas. And I think that if you're loyal to a country, you need to be mindful that we have a responsibility, a national responsibility within the Caribbean. And the same thing applies. I have meetings often with the importers, and the persons that run large supermarkets that have a tendency to want to apply. Mr. Paul, who just had to leave, and we fight against them. They want to import everything. The reality of it, and I have to charge them with when they import everything, and we put farmers out of production. Who are we going to leave to buy these things when they come in? And it's going to impact the country. It's going to impact the young people, and it's eventually, I know we're not talking about crime. It's going to impact crime within the region, Barbados and the region.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, remember, the politics play a big role in it.
Yeah.
Because that same retail market, also is a big factor in the political sphere,
Yeah.
And that is everywhere. So.
One of the things is that our agriculture, the farmers in our agriculture sector in Trinidad are aged. A lot of them are old. We are not being able to attract young people. If a farmer, especially a second and third generation farmer, they educate the children. They don't want the children to continue unless there's some big extravagant production going on. But most of the average farmer do not want their children to continue, and the children don't want to do that because they see grandpa, they see mama and papa suffering in agriculture to educate them. And especially if the land is private land, when they get the education and they know about business and marketing, they convert those lands into buildings and into factories or wholesale and retail outlets. And then what happens is that they are linked to the American people, and they're bringing the American franchise to Trinidad and Tobago and setting up these big warehouses and them kind of thing on agricultural land, and nobody seems to care a damn thing about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if we don't put the emphasis on assisting agriculture, because believe you me, we say that sometimes we don't need money, but in other developed countries, they are subsidized at a very high level to produce. They are paid to produce, and in some cases, they are financed to produce. Right? Because I can recall when I went to England to visit the farmers and them, they would take a bull, some of those who didn't have extra milk and couldn't sell their milk, and grow bulls. And the cooperative of the government would buy back those animals to slaughter at a very high price. So they have almost 100% plus compensated for the animal that they grow. Their rams are taken up when they get big and so on and paid for it. And they don't have land. They have, I know one guy in England, and I could talk a lot about that. He living on 15,000 acres of land, and not one blade of grass he planted on that 15,000 acres of land. He have corn and soya planted on that he sells to the cooperative, and the cooperative in turn growing thousands of acres of land in hay, and he will go and take the hay there at a subsidized price because he sold his produce to the cooperative and taken back the feed and them kind of thing. When would we get away from this mentality? In Jamaica, you quite cheered a lot from Bob Marley. This mental slavery that we have in our head, that is only a people of a certain quality could do these things, and we can't. Why in the Caribbean we think like that?
Yes. Well, gentlemen, gentlemen, we have to continue this discussion because as Mr. Paul pointed out, that he's going to be linking with the agricultural societies and the other organization representing farmers in Jamaica. Mr. Bernard, I'm going to give your number to Mr. Paul. Mr. James Paul.
No problem.
Yes, because as we said, we want to strengthen the agricultural sector. But we have come to the end of the program for this evening. The time has expired. But let us say we will continue. Let us continue next week, Wednesday, gentlemen.
Could you exchange everybody on the chat from beginning? I would like to have some more conversation with the president of Jamaica Sheep and Goat Society.
Yes.
So my main production is sheep and goat and dairy production in terms of milk, goat's milk.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
So thank you, Desmond, Brother Desmond. I want to thank you for making this effort. And I am talks with other couple radio stations here to see how we could get a time where we could sit down and discuss the same thing in Trinidad with your voices. Even though we had to repeat the discussion, we want to share it for other communities. And if Barbados could do it, and whoever else, let us do it. Let us see what we can do to spread the message.
I am going to give you.
My area's expertise in broadcasting. I was a producer director with the National Broadcasting Corporation, and I did the Parliament debate. But I want to thank Mr. Desmond. You know the urgency of what I was dealing with today, but I couldn't leave once I came in. But I would beg you, sir, see if you can get Ghana. Ghana is boasting that a lot of things are happening there. Our sheep industry in Barbados, in black belly industry, our Prime Minister have exported several hundred sheep to Ghana. I would like to have a report of how they're doing well, because those animals did well in the environment of Barbados. They have several hundred years of development in this environment. Okay. And I wish that they could go to Ghana and be just as productive. So we need to have these conversations that we can have food security, significant food security from one island within our region. So thank you very much, sir.
Mr. Khan, I'm going to share your number with Mr. Bernard too, right?
All right.
Okay.
Thank you all.
All right.
Thank you all. Take care, and we'll be in touch next week.
Thank you.
Thanks
very
again,
much.
Brother Desmond.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Bye-bye.
Yes, that was food security for today. And we had today Mr. Trevor Bernard, president of the Small Ruminant Society in Jamaica. We had Mr. Stephen Lane, the president of the Barbados Eggs and Poultry Association. Mr. James Paul, president of the Barbados Agricultural Society, with us. And as I indicated, that what we are doing, we are putting together an initiative to link up the Caribbean Agricultural Society. We want Caribbean farmers to be on one boat so that we can strengthen agriculture in the region. Yes, that was food security. Coming up next, yes, is our big program, Eyes on the World. Let us go for a break.
It's the Everybody Sale at New Budget Supplies. Do-it-yourself professionals and contractors. This is the sale for you. Lumber, steel, dress and form ply, water tanks, pumps, PVC pipes and fittings, toilets, bathtubs, vanities and basins, windows, paint, doors, floor and wall tiles, thin sets and grout. Up to 20% off selected items. 195 Hagleyburg Road. Telephone 923-4560. New Budget Supplies. Always the best prices.
Tools, Hardware and Supplies is turning up the heat this summer with their super saving summer sale. Prices are slashed on everything you need to fix up your home. Beautiful tiles, sleek doors, top quality windows, modern sanitary ware, exclusive flooring and more. At Tools, Hardware and Supplies, we have you covered for the summer.
So come visit us at 279 Spanish Town Road, 4 South Camp Road, 8 Red Hills Road,
or online at toolsja.com.
Tools!
The Lion King of Hard Hills.
And vibes, and through it all there's a glow inside. Let's keep our shine alive.
From the market to the factory floors, from the hillside green to golden shores.
We're rich in lights, our energy that lights the sky. Shine bright, Jamaica. Shine bright, Jamaica. Feel the rhythm, we're on track. Feel it, feel it. Together we rise, together we climb. JPS Jamaica, together we shine.
Shine for the ends, shine with your family. Shine
Bay, Portland, known as Hermitage Farm, located on the main road east of Oak Bay Police Station and west of Somerset Falls. Property size is 74 acres and includes a house with 5 bedrooms, 4,971 square feet, with water storage and a 3.5 acre coastal pond. Asking price US $2 million. For further information, kindly contact Kenneth Tomlinson, receiver, trustee, care of Business Recovery Services Limited, 11 Connolly Avenue, Kingston 4. Telephone number 876-948-001225. So that's 876-948-001225.
Imagine a world where information is power, where news meets insight. This is Eyes on the World, your personal lens. We are watching with you. Stay informed, stay curious, get the world's stories reported to you. Eyes on the World, your perspective.
Yes, welcome to our big program, Eyes on the World. And as you know, we are focusing on events globally, but focusing on what is happening in the Middle East and Africa. And you know the genocide continues. So here's what we have lined up for you this afternoon. Take a look at these videos.
Finally, the deal is done, the deal is signed. I am so upset, I'm so sad, I'm so mad. I have no words to express how terrible this situation, this agreement, this whole thing that Congo just did is. After so much talk and so much explanation, analysis, DRC Congo decided to sell and give up their own portion of Africa. The map of Africa is no longer complete because we see what happened between Iran and US. Iran decided to keep the entirety of their oil, their uranium, and all their mineral resources. They fought for it over the years. And at the same time, Africa, that is like a fight between husband and wife, Rwanda and Congo, they could not come to peace agreement by themselves, and nobody in Africa could settle them until they have to invite the United States of America to settle them, to cut out the peace deal in Congo. Congo is one of the richest country with mineral. Congo, as a matter of fact, has what it takes to manage the entire Africa. But few months ago, about a few weeks ago, I did a video on Congo, what they were about to do, and some of you were sending me messages that it's not real, it can never happen. What did you see today? They have just penned They have just signed. Just about 3 or 4 days ago, I did a video warning Africa to be careful about signing a lot of things, especially in desperation. Now you see all of them pack themselves in Oval Office, smiling and excited and saying, oh, glory be to God, we are able to come to Oval Office. We are able to see White House. We are able to see this. So they were so carried away by emotion. Listen, while US is smiling to bank and securing the future of their citizens and their unborn children, Rwanda and Congo, they are depriving the next generation of the opportunity to live a good life. And now, who are the people fighting without stopping? They are the people between the age of 18 and 30. These are the people that won't allow Congo and Rwanda to have peace with all manner of bloodshed for over 21 years or thereabout. And who are the people they are fighting for? They are fighting to defend the people that are over 60, people that are going on the other side of life. What a disappointment in Africa today. This is not in any way to blame the United States of America. Donald Trump is doing what is best for America. Is doing what is best for the United States of America. Is doing what is best for the Western world. But our people are signing away the future of Africa. They are dismantling the future of Africa. They are messing up the future of Africa. This is just unbelievable. Where do we stop from here? And that is why Africa Human Capacity Development Initiative is a must right now. If you love Africa and you want the best for Africa, this is the time for you to support Africa Human Capacity Development. This is the time for you to say, this is where I belong in this initiative. I'm looking for individuals that will come on their own, conglomerates, institutions that will come and say, we want to develop our people. This is bad. I want you to share this. Here is my question. Should we continue in this direction? Is this the best way to build a nation, a continent? When we cannot just stop fighting ourselves, we are divided by politics, by religion, by clan, by ethnicity. What? President Felix, what? Kagame, what? Dr. Paul Kagame, what? What are both of you looking for? What are you looking for? This is an embarrassment to the entire continent and to the entire world. The world is laughing at us. They are laughing at us. Look at these people. They just want to take pictures in the White House. Look at these people. We have betrayed our intellectual capacity. We have betrayed the next generation. This is a mess. Africa, it's time to wake up. It's time to rise up. It's time to rebuild. It is not time to be emotional. It is time to think. Come on now. I don't even have a word to say right now. If you love what I'm doing here and you want to be part of this movement, spread this, share this. First of all, just share this and hit that plus button to follow. We need to take this page higher because I've got so many things on my document here to review to you guys. If not, Africa will be sold and we will be enslaved in our own land. Listen, what they have just signed right now, I can't even explain to you the problem this is going to cost in the nearest future. I can't even start explaining, analyzing to you. Whatever your thought is, leave into the comment section. If you agree with President Felix and Congo for signing away their mineral resources, like endless mineral resources, Jesus Christ. Even President Trump could not believe that this was going to be possible. He couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe it. Look at the way they were just, everybody sitting, they were just looking. He couldn't believe it. He's just smiling. It's like, they're so easy. Disappointed. Sad. Unbelievable. Incomprehensible. What? In 21st century?
breaking news, Israel is poisoning food that they're giving out to the Palestinians in Gaza, confirmed by CNN, as well as many other atrocities they have committed in the past week in these aid sites. In the past week, IDF soldiers were firing upon civilians whenever they were simply waiting in line to pick up food from the Gaza Humanitarian Aid Foundation built by the US and Israel. And now, as whistleblowers coming out, we're now knowing that the Israelis were giving the order to fire on civilians, and that caused the deaths of around 500 Palestinians. And we also know that they have been poisoning the flour bags that they're giving out, causing much more death. In response, Israel, instead of addressing the problem and owning up to it, they have decided to halt all aid into northern Gaza, claiming that has been stealing it all. Reuters is reporting that it is confirmed that the Palestinian civilians are the only ones receiving this aid. This also comes this morning as Israeli radio said that, quote, Gaza must be eliminated. Comment what you think and make sure to follow me for all the breaking news.
مجزرة إسرائيلية بحق المواطنين هنا بعد استهداف استراحة الباقة على شارع البحر غربي مدينة غزة. نتحدث عن عشرات من الشهداء والإصابات في هذا المكان بعد مجزرة إسرائيلية واستهداف الطائرات الحربية لهذا المكان. هذا الدمار الكبير الذي لحق بهذه الاستراحة وبهذا المكان، كما نشاهد عمليات البحث عن مفقودين وعن أشلاء قد تناثرت ما زالت مستمرة.
The Gaza Humanitarian Foundation is an Israeli and American-backed controversial organisation that for the last month has been directly distributing some aid to Palestinians in Gaza, but from 4 distribution points across the whole territory, mainly in the south. And that means that tens of thousands of people looking for food, looking for aid, have to travel long distances. Once they get there, it's incredibly dangerous. According to reports from Gaza, about 500 people have been killed at or near these aid distribution points in the last month. So now about 130 aid organisations from across the world, including Oxfam and Save the Children, have issued a statement saying that they want the old system of UN bodies and affiliated organisations taking aid to the people where it's needed most. Israel says its system is the best because it avoids Hamas. But these bodies have said, no, let's go back to the old system because that is the best way of getting aid to the people of Gaza.
Separately, Israel attacked tents housing displaced people in the courtyard of the Al-Aqsa Hospital in central Gaza. Al Jazeera reports it's the 10th time Israeli forces have attacked the medical complex.
Gaza's streets are mourning after another deadly night. Here's what happened. Israeli forces launched multiple airstrikes across Gaza, hitting aid distribution points, a local cafe, and a school. These attacks killed at least 95 people, including children and humanitarian workers. International observers are raising alarms over strikes on civilian areas, especially as many were waiting for food and medical help. The bombings come as diplomatic efforts for a ceasefire intensify. In Israel, thousands took to the streets, calling for an end to the war and demanding the return of hostages. Meanwhile, in Iran, huge crowds mourned officials and civilians lost in earlier strikes, keeping regional tensions high. Humanitarian agencies warn that continued violence in Gaza puts even basic survival at risk for countless families. The world is watching as hopes for peace hang in the balance. Stay informed. Follow for updates on this developing story.
والله راح البلد.
I am calling for help urgently. Please do whatever you can through your government or the international, the ICRC, the Red Cross, to arrange a safe corridor for the medical staff. Please treat this as top urgent, not survive until the morning.
To those in power, I say, enable our operations as international humanitarian law demands. To those with influence, I say, use it. To all member states, I say, uphold UN Charter you recommitted to just yesterday for the 80th anniversary. Let us bring in life-saving supplies, let us reach people where they are, and let us recognize that the solution to this problem is ultimately political. The only sustainable path to re-establishing hope is by paving the way to the two-state solution. Diplomacy and human dignity for all must prevail.
Right now, at one of the locations where an Iranian ballistic missile has hit in the center of the country, you can see the destruction all around where I am standing, and it goes on 100 meters to each direction. And together with the Home Front Command and other law enforcement agencies that are here, we're assisting and helping the people to get out from all this chaos.
Anybody, anywhere, anytime has ever struck inside the 1948 borders of Israel with the precision and the power that Iran, night after night after night, pulverized Tel Aviv, Haifa, Ashkelon, Ashdod, and all these strategic centers. Beersheba, never forget Beersheba. The Iranian ballistic missiles were uncontested by the end. Despite that mutt, that punch bag, Piers Morgan, he told me when I was last on his show that only one or two Iranian missiles had managed to get through the Israeli defenses. Well, those one or two certainly did a lot of damage. No, it's never happened before. All these Arab countries, all these Muslim countries, with all their armies, their navies, and their air forces, with all the missiles that they buy, all the bombs that they buy as protection money from the United States of America, none of them have ever landed one punch on Israel, no matter how many Palestinians it. But Iran landed hundreds and hundreds of ballistic missiles, some of them hypersonic ballistic missiles, which landed right on the nose of their target, in the end, uncontested. This changes forever the narrative so far as Israel is concerned. They are no longer the invincible superpower of the Middle East. Iran can now rival them at any point in time. Now, of course, Israel will rebuild, but Iran will be retooling and restocking also. And finally, China and Russia have arrived on the field in that regard. So by the time of the next round, Israel will have recovered some of its strength, but Iran, which finished stronger, will have recovered much of its also, and maybe then more so.
The agreement being signed includes provisions on the respect for territorial integrity and the prohibition of hostilities, the disengagement, disarmament, and conditional integration of non-state armed groups, the establishment of a joint security coordination mechanism, the facilitation of the return of refugees and internally displaced persons, as well as humanitarian access, the reaffirmation of MONUSCO's mandate, and the establishment of a regional economic integration framework. The agreement also includes an annex on the functioning of the Joint Security Coordination Mechanism and the full text of the concept of operations of the Harmonized Plan for the Neutralization of the FDLR and disengagement of forces / lifting of defensive measures by Rwanda, which was agreed to under the auspices of the Luanda process on October 31st, 2024, and adopted by the foreign ministers on November 25, 2024. With the parties' signatures today, the agreement immediately enters into force. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Okay. There you have it. Have it there, snapshots of what has been happening around the world. Yes. We are going to go over to Barbados now. You remember that the Barbados I'm just trying to remember the name of the organization, but however, a lawsuit was filed and the Supreme Court heard the matter today. And we are going to be talking to the attorney who is leading that matter there now, for him to bring us up to date on what has happened, what transpired in court today. Yes, and we have attorney Lula Anaman with us. Lulu, good evening. How are you?
Greetings, my brother.
Yes,
the connection's a bit unstable, but I think we can still communicate.
Yes. What did you say?
I said the connection isn't very stable, but I can still communicate. It keeps buffering a bit.
Right. So what happened in court today, sir?
Well, the Solicitor General of Barbados, along with two other lawyers, represented the state of Barbados, and I represented the case, the genocide case. The judge hearing it is a judge called Dr. Herbert Patrick Wells. He's a Jamaican national. He apparently used to work in the AG's office in Jamaica, but he's now a High Court judge here.
Yes.
And the other side made an application to have the claims struck out, but Justice Wells ruled that we be given a week to file submissions in response, written submissions, opposing the application to strike out. And then both parties are to be given a further 7 days to do written submissions on whether or not the Barbadian court has jurisdiction to deal with international law issues.
Yes. Okay.
So that is what happened today.
Yes, yes.
And then the matter's adjourned until the 21st of July. So it'll be back before Justice Wells on the 21st of July.
Okay, all right. So the matter continues down there in Barbados. Listeners and viewers, you heard that. They'll be back in court on the 23rd of July.
21st.
Yes.
21st.
21st. So, from your perspective, Lulu, what do you make of today's proceedings?
Well, Justice Wells was very fair. The application has been made by the Solicitor General to have it struck out, to be thrown out, and he's given us an opportunity to respond to that application. They're saying in their application that the local courts don't have jurisdiction to deal with genocide issues. But Barbados, back in 1985, had actually passed local legislation saying that the Global Genocide Convention is applicable in domestic law. They've brought it into domestic law. So I'm saying that the court does have jurisdiction to deal with it. But obviously that's a matter for Justice Wells to determine after he's heard the various arguments. Obviously we are hopeful. Hello?
Yes, Lulu, go ahead. I lost you for a minute, but go on, continue.
Yeah, I'm just saying that, we'll be filing the various submissions to do with the strikeout and also to do with the jurisdictional point. And then if the court decides in our favor on those two matters, then there'll be a timetable drawn up by the judge for evidence to be submitted, evidence of the genocide. And we're also claiming that there's apartheid in Israel there against the Palestinians. So there'll be evidence about the apartheid system as well. And then ultimately, if we succeed in all our declarations and our submissions, there'll be a ruling in our favor. But obviously, that's not going to happen tomorrow. It's probably going to happen sometime in August or maybe even September before we get there. Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of these Caribbean courts, as you know, they close down in August, yeah? But we just have to...
yes.
Correct, yeah. It's going all the way back to the days of colonialism when the judges would go back to England in August. But they still have that tradition. So unless there's something considered to be absolutely urgent, nothing much happens in the courts in August. But I'm hoping that maybe, given the urgency of this matter, a genocide is clearly an urgent matter, that Justice Wells might even deal with it in August as well.
Yes. Well, let us hope that it is treated with urgency, because as you are aware, Lulu, as we speak, the bombings, the slaughtering of Palestinians continues. So we would really...
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. I just heard on the BBC World Service that the head of a hospital, there's a hospital there that was funded by Indonesia. It's known as the Indonesian Hospital. The head of the hospital, his home was bombed and his family were killed. His wife and family were all killed and he was killed. It just happened today.
Wow.
Right? Yes. And yesterday, a cafe that was used by local journalists in Gaza
was bombed.
Was bombed.
Yes.
That's right. And 20 people were killed. And it was a cafe that used to go there to recharge their phones and obviously exchange information and have themselves a cup of tea or coffee or something. And it was targeted. It was bombed.
Yes.
The Israelis don't want the information getting out. They've banned all foreign journalists, and the local journalists are being targeted. There's something like well over 200 journalists now in Gaza that have been killed in the last year and a half.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes,
They're
sir.
eliminating journalists.
Yes.
They're trying to suppress the information. I was reading an article in there's an Israeli left-wing paper called Haaretz, and I was reading an article in there, and they were interviewing some soldiers, IDF soldiers, and some of them were saying that the situation in Gaza is such that the IDF, are now the Nazis, and the Palestinians are the Jews, obviously drawing an analogy to the Turtles and Forters in Germany.
Yes.
The IDF, some of the soldiers are actually saying that themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And just to on the question of suppression of news, we the official information from the Israelis, one would get the impression that very little damage was done in that exchange of missiles with Iran. But news coming out suggests that there has been significant damage to infrastructure and loss of lives as a result of that exchange. So,
unfortunately, a lot of Palestinians were killed in that exchange as well, because the Israeli state has built shelters for Jewish Israelis, but they have built no shelters for the Palestinians who live within Israel. So unfortunately, a number of Palestinians were killed by those missiles as well, because the missiles, obviously, once they explode, they don't discriminate as to who is going to be the victim. Yeah?
No, not at all. Not at all, sir.
Right?
Yes. And that is why it is so important for all efforts to be made to really settle this matter, because innocent lives, what we are witnessing, innocent lives are being lost all across. Because one of the things that we have to acknowledge is that in war, innocent people are killed in war. People who are not involved in the war are killed.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
And this is something that we should condemn. And therefore, that is why we can't support war. And what is happening in what the Israelis are doing in Lebanon, in Gaza, is total destruction of innocent civilians. These babies, I see some videos where whole people and children, they're struggling to get water. So
that's right.
Yes.
That's right. No fuel has been allowed into Gaza for something like 110 days by the Israelis, and the Gazans rely on these desalination plants to get water to drink. And before the desalination plants can work, they need fuel. So lots of them are closing down. And the head of UNICEF, the United Nations Children's Fund, was saying that a number of the children are dying or will be dying from thirst because there's no water for them. It's an horrendous situation.
Yes,
and unfortunately, so many governments globally are complicit. It's not just, obviously, America and Britain and Germany, but by their silence, governments are complicit. So I fully support the demonstrations against CARICOM. Yes, CARICOM might issue the odd statement from time to time or give observer status to Palestine at their meetings, but they still maintain close diplomatic relations with Israel. They still maintain trade relations with Israel. They still maintain cultural and sporting relations with Israel. All of those things we broke in the days of apartheid in South Africa, but we still maintain them with Israel, which is totally hypocritical.
Yes, sir. Yes, certainly. And we sincerely hope that the heads, the Prime Minister's meeting in Montego Bay next week or this weekend will take some action. But what I suspect, Mr. Annaman, that the Caribbean leaders, I think they are fearful to take action against Israel. They're fearful that they might ruffle the American feathers. That is
quite right, my friend. Yes. Quite right. They're concerned that this madman in the White House might introduce sanctions against them or raise trade tariffs against them. Obviously, we are very vulnerable economies, but the apartheid regime in South Africa was fully supported by the Western governments as well.
Yes,
but yet we took positive action against them. We didn't have any sporting links, diplomatic links, trading links, cultural links with apartheid South Africa. And if we could have done it then, and our economies were even more vulnerable in those days, this is back in the 70s.
Yes.
If we could have done it then, we could do it now. What is required is leaders with what the Spanish would say cojones, yes. With testicles, right?
Yes.
That's what we need, right? Leaders who actually do what they ought to do. like Michael Manley, what he was doing when he was there in Jamaica, right? Those are the sorts of leaders we need. The people we have now are generally wimps and cowards and self-interested individuals.
Yes, they are protecting their visas. Yes, and while
how sad and pathetic is that, right? You know, we let people die so that we can go to New York on holiday. You know, how pathetic is that?
Yes, and it is really disgraceful for our leaders to really sit down and watch other human beings being slaughtered and do nothing about it. It is really disgraceful, because one of the things that we should remember, that we are human beings first. Whether you are white, black, Chinese, or Indian, you are a human being. And therefore, when you see other human beings that are being killed in front of your eyes, you just cannot sit down and pretend as if nothing is happening. And this is exactly what we are seeing, what we have seen from the Caribbean leaders so far. So we are appealing to them. Yes, we're appealing to them, and we are urging all peace-loving Caribbean people to lift up their voices, join in protests against their governments, to take action, urge the governments, the Caribbean governments, to take action against Israel so that we can help to ease the burden and destruction of the Palestinian people. So,
correct, my brother.
Yes.
Absolutely correct.
So I want to thank you very much, sir, and we will continue the protests on this program. Thank you very much.
All the best, my brother. It's a pleasure. Take care. Bye-bye.
Yes, that was Attorney Lulo Onaman there, and you heard what happened in Barbados today. Read that court action. Yes. So stay tuned to Rebel Radio as we keep you abreast of what is happening. That's the end of our program today, Eyes on the World. And until Wednesday, stay tuned to Rebel Radio.
Imagine a world where information is power, where news meets insight. This is Eyes on the World, your personal lens. We are watching with you. Stay informed, stay curious, get the world's stories reported to you. Eyes on the World, your perspective.
It's the Everybody Sale at New Budget Supplies. Do-it-yourself professionals and contractors. This is the sale for you. Lumber, steel, dress and form ply, water tanks, pumps, PVC pipes and fittings, toilets, bathtubs, vanities and basins, windows, paint, doors, floor and wall tiles, thin sets and grout. Up to 20% off selected items. 195 Hagley Park Road. Telephone 923-4560. New Budget Supplies. Always the best prices.
Tools, hardware, and supplies is turning up the heat this summer with their super saving summer sale. Prices are slashed on everything you need to fix up your home. Beautiful tiles, sleek doors, top quality windows, modern sanitary ware, exclusive flooring, and more. At Tools, hardware, and supplies, we have you covered for the summer.
So come visit us at 279 Spanish Town Road, 4 South Camp Road, 8 Red Hills Road,
or online at toolsja.com.
Tools!
The Lion King of Hardware.
Let's keep our shine alive.
From the market to the factory floors, from the hillside green to golden shores.
We're reaching heights, our energy that lights the sky. Shine bright, Jamaica. Shine bright, Jamaica. Feel the rhythm, we're on track. Feel it, feel it. Together we rise, together we climb. JPS Jamaica, together we shine.
Shine from the ends, shine with your family, shine with your friends. Light up the streets and make the vibes blend. Yo, JPS and make the shine never end.
Property for sale in Oak Bay, Portland, known as Hermitage Farm, located on the main road east of Oak Bay Police Station and west of Somerset Falls. Property size is 74 acres and includes a house with 5 bedrooms, 4,971 square feet, with water storage and a 3.5 acre coastal pond. Asking price US $2 million. For further information, kindly contact Kenneth Tomlinson, receiver, trustee, care of Business Recovery Services Limited, 11 Connolly Avenue, Kingston 4. Telephone number 876-948-001225. So that's 876-948-001225.
All I've got now is all to Jesus. I surrender all to Him. I freely give. I will ever love and trust Him in His presence daily.
Okay, it's time for the world of sports and entertainment. Now hand you over to our host, JJ McCullough.
Thank you very much, Sir Mr. Richards. Yes, it's here again for results and the midweek bulletin in the world of sports and entertainment. Okay, we're gonna kick off things with some entertainment. It's planning stages for some major events that's gonna happen in the summer and early next year. The Summerfest is on in this month, and things are looking up for Catherine Hall in Montego Bay for the weekly event, and of course the 2 international events featuring our dancehall acts, Bounty Killer, Vibes Cartel, and more on the events. The show on the weekend, the Saturday and the Sunday at Sumfest. We're gonna can't give you details now, but we're gonna give you more details on Friday about the parties preceding the Sumfest production. And of course, it's a planning stages at this time for, the annual Rebel Salute that will be commencing next January 2026. But you're going to see a difference. Earlier this year, Tony Rebel had it in Jamaica and then in Miami. You're going to hear announcement of where Rebel Salute is going to be in overseas for the second edition. Got more of that, and we're going to get an interview preceding that. We're talking to the man himself, Tony Rebel, and Organic Heart promotions that is involved in the Rebel Salute. Also, Leng, the Sting production will be coming back in December. You know that we had a postponement of it in December last year due to the Street Vibes. The Vibes Cartel big event, and it didn't happen, but it is going to be a bigger and better with a lot of local artists on this Sting production that is coming up in December. So it's planning stages for those major events that's coming up on the entertainment calendar. Also, I want to delve in a little of the music. I want to say congratulations to Coney, yes, for having the remix that was done by Perry for the song I Know, that is originally done by a Filipino. Was Coney. She's also from Philippines who have done the remix, and it's on several platforms. You're going to hear more about it on Friday on World of Sports and Entertainment. And there's going to be more coming from the production in Bahamas. It's Perry. Yes, they're thinking of doing more. I don't want to just say any more like that, but I know an album is in the making there, and you're going to hear much more about the project with Filipino cover song specialist Concepcion Espinosa, a.k.a. Coney. We'll give you more of that on the weekend that's coming up on Friday. Okay. There was a meeting in sports football, to be exactly, between Coach McLaren and the JFF. And based on the results that have been going on, with the Reggae Boys and preceding the first round exit in the Gold Cup, which is at the semi-final stage at this time. Yeah, it's a state of execution for the coach. Yes, they'll be continuing with the program, but we're going to get more details on what's going to happen with where the coach is concerned and the player. The Reggae Boys will have their opening fixtures against Aruba in the World Cup. That includes also Trinidad and Curacao. 3 away matches and 3 home matches for the winner of the group to qualify directly to the World Cup that is being held. That is going to be held in USA, Canada, and Mexico next year. Okay, so those are the things that we are looking to discuss on weekend. And of course, there are a lot of events. Coming up tonight is Rubber Dub Dancehall, so it's going to feature a lot of artists there. Featuring, of course, Peter Metro, Major Mackerel, and of course, the man himself, O'Neal Famous, whose production, and this is all held at Rebel T every Thursday night. Different artists, different selector, and so think you want to enjoy some good music, live performances. It's going to be the Thursday dancehall thing at Rebel T right there. Yeah, so these and more we're going to talk about on Friday. Yes.
JJ, the other day I was saying that I have not heard anything about some of the great artists who have passed by, and at the time I indicated like John Holt, Halton Ellis. He died some years ago, but since then I have not heard anything. Like a remembrance. What would be great is for some promoter to put on a remembrance show for these great artists.
Yes, I haven't heard, and it's something that I don't know that the entertainment ministry, youth and culture can look into. We don't get no announcement coming out of that. I thought, the Honorable Babsy Grange would, come up with something. But it's the Independence time that is coming up. And the JCDC have so many events to have this festival queen. You're going to have the gospel and the music finals that are coming up during this month and next month. So it's something that JCDC can look at, as well as local promoters. It's because all these events and resources to do something like that will have to come from corporate Jamaica and the support. I want to let you know something. When Kingsley Cooper was around, you could see a lot of things, especially for Peter Tosh and all those artists. But But a man like Kingsley Cooper is out of the industry, it's a big chunk of entertainment that has been missing. And no one with a Pulse investment have even think of saying, all right, Kingsley Cooper is not here and they're going to take up the mantle. I haven't heard of anything that Pulse is doing again. And it's something that needs to look into nationally, but
one of the things I wanted to put on the agenda is that we at Rebel Radio,
yes,
we should be thinking of on the August 1.
Emancipation.
Yes, we should be thinking of a show, a show on August 1 to preserve reggae music, where we would remember all the great artists, Toots and the Maytals, Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, Bunny Wailer, those great artists. And yes, and we will celebrate their lives on August 1. Let us yes.
That is on a Friday, a month from now.
Yes. We might not we might not be able to start it this year, but I want you to put that right on the agenda. So when you come on Friday, we can talk about it some more.
We can give it a voice right there. Yes.
We got to go. Yeah, we got to go now. So.
All right.
So.
Thanks. We will discuss this and more on the World of Sports and Entertainment this Friday, starting at 4 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Thanks, Mr. Richard. This is Kingsley JJ on the Bulletin.
Okay, Kingsley. That's the end of today's show. Thanks to all my listeners and viewers. Yes. And you know you got to remember that you must do whatever you can to support the Palestinian solidarity movement here for their protests coming up next Sunday. And as usual, remember, drivers, riders, pedestrians, take it easy on our roads, please. Let us save lives. And remember to stay safe. Keep out of the reach of the gunmen. They are on the rampage. Until Friday, this is Rebel Radio, and I am Desmond Richards. Thanks to my technical operator, Kevin. Have a good night.
Everybody sale at New Budget Supplies. Do-it-yourself professionals and contractors. This is the sale for you. Lumber, steel, dress and form ply, water tanks, pumps, PVC pipes and fittings, toilets, bathtubs, vanities and basins, windows, paint, doors, floor and wall tiles, thin sets and grout. Up to 20% off selected items. 195 Hagleyburg Road. Telephone 923-4560. New Budget Supplies. Always the best prices.
Tools, Hardware and Supplies is turning up the heat this summer with their super saving summer sale. Prices are slashed on everything you need to fix up your home. Beautiful tiles, sleek doors, top quality windows, modern sanitary ware, exclusive flooring and more. At Tools, Hardware and Supplies, we have you covered for the summer.
So come visit us at 279 Spanish Town Road, 4 South Camp Road, 8 Red Hills Road,
or online at toolsja.com.
Tools!
The Lion King of Hard Hills.
Oh, Jamaica, rise, we're built with fire, passion and vibes, and through it all, there's a glow inside. Let's keep our shine alive.
From the market to the factory floors, from the hillside green to golden shores.
We're reaching heights, our energy that lights the sky. Shine bright.
Bay, Portland, known as Hermitage Farm, located on the main road east of Oak Bay Police Station and west of Somerset Falls. Property size is 74 acres and includes a house with 5 bedrooms, 4,971 square feet, with water storage and a 3.5 acre coastal pond. Asking price US $2 million. For further information, kindly contact Kenneth Tomlinson, receiver, trustee, care of Business Recovery Services Limited, 11 Connolly Avenue, Kingston 4. Telephone number 876-948-001225. So that's 876-948-001225.